But there's a PS2.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with it. I've had that. Yeah, I just brought it here.
I haven't seen those in forever.
Yeah. I'm trying to get like a good collection of games for it.
Yeah. That's badass.
I should go to Mom.
Did you know the little symbol turns?
What?
Did you know that?
It does. I saw
What?
Yeah, TikTok. That's where I learned it.
Yeah.
The little PS2 or the little symbol on the front there, it turns.
Like the red PlayStation symbol? No.
Yeah, I swear.
Oh my god.
So like when you put it upright,
oh,
like the PlayStation upright.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that either. I saw a stupid ass TikTok of it.
TikTok is amazing.
I saw that TikTok too. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. On this week's episode, we're doing The Fast and Furious. That is the title, right? The Fast and Furious?
I thought it was just Fast and Furious.
Where's the movie at?
I thought it was The Fast and Furious.
Yeah, there's...
Oh, yes, I wasn't.
Because there's like Fast and Furious. I don't know. The Fast and Furious, which, is that your favorite movie?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Yeah, we have a good friend of ours, special guest, Cody Baker, is on the show today. We talking about this movie and some other shit in life.
Is that my camera?
That one.
Yeah, your camera's right there. I always like look at the TV and I'm like, nope, camera. And then yours is right here. It's fucking ghetto. Anyways, we have a lot to talk about, but first a word from our sponsor. Do you want to start a podcast? Well, now you can, for free. And it's as easy as downloading the new Spotify podcast app to your phone and or computer and hitting record. Spotify Podcasts allows you to record anytime or upload files and provides all the tools you'll need to make your episode sound as solid as stone. Spotify Podcasts is the new home for any podcasters looking to expand their brand and reach new audiences across the globe. Dima, I want to start doing something new where I kind of get on one about something in life. Oh. Like in a previous episode where I got all worked up about the donut experience at Meijer. Well, this pertains to Meijer too, but it's not exclusive to Meijer. I was getting our donuts today.
Right.
That sounds really fat. I was getting our donuts today and fucking checking out. How come we have to use a chip card? Because my chip wasn't reading, and after 3 times it said, please slide. If the fucking slide still works, why aren't we just doing that from jump?
Okay, no,
why do we have to have 2 fucking options for our card? Well, and even worse, if your tap's not working, it'll say insert chip, and if that's not working, slide.
Then slide. But it always says chip, slide, or tap. So it makes you seem like there's an option there.
But there's not.
But there's not.
You have to do the chip first.
Yeah, no, okay, I got it.
And then it wants to let you know, like, yeah, your fucking card sucks. Anyways. But, yeah, I don't know. It just really pisses me off.
Alright, I'm tired of the whole chip thing. I don't really care. I never give a fuck, Kyle, about the goddamn chip. Just tell me what the fuck happened in The Fast and the Furious.
Oh, yeah.
Gods.
You'll be proud of me. I wrote my own intro.
You wrote one this
one?
one?
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? Reminiscent of train robberies of the Old West, recent high-speed semi-truck robberies have lit a fire under the LAPD. Hard-boiled Mr. Clean stunt double Dominique Toretto is suspected due to his history with the law and racing in the streets. LAPD officer Brian O'Connor goes undercover and snakes his way into Toretto's highly skilled racing crew to try and convict Toretto. O'Connor, however, finds himself hooked by Toretto's sister's fish and is conflicted as to where his loyalties lie. Will he honor his oath to the brass, or get lost in the adrenaline-fueled world of Underglow and Nas? Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Now, we start off by rating movies, Cody. We have a rating system, that of which represents golf scores for whatever fucking reason. It's the only thing about this podcast that has anything to do with golf.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've, realized that yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
I was talking to Derek yesterday about our name, and he was like, it's kind of cool, but, what's it got to do with your podcast? I was like, I don't know.
Just shit
You'll never see anything about golf, cigars, or butter.
No.
It's so fucking stupid.
I know nothing about golf either, so that's great.
All right, so it's like a backwards scale because usually the higher the number, the better something is.
Okay.
Hole in One,
That's what I thought, yeah.
an amazing movie,
Right.
perfect. Par 2, good, but there's some things you would change. Par 3, it was okay, but you wouldn't watch again. Par 4, it was bad. Par 5, dumpster fire. And then you can bogey it to a 6, which means, like, burn it should have never been made.
Okay.
So for
Like
me...
Bo is afraid.
Yeah. Bo's Afraid, never watched that movie. I'm going to say Hole in One.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
I love this movie. Love it. Even its imperfections. I love it.
I'm gonna go with the 2. It was very good. It was very good. Very good.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. But only because it was a very low budgeted movie.
Yes.
It is.
And it was. But it could have been amazing, but like you said, there's a lot of like the voiceovers kind of suck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if
yeah.
you noticed that.
That's one
Yeah,
thing I was
a
going to
little
talk about. So I actually watched it last night with my mother-in-law, which that was interesting. She was very into it. Like, can you
Really?
picture Debbie on her couch, like,
No.
watching Fast? Yeah, she was watching.
But that's only
She-
because I usually only see her watching like true crime shows.
Yeah. Like,
So that's why it's like surprising.
Yeah, she was all about it. Actually, Kate came in and was jabbering about Halloween and dumb shit, and she was like, "Kyle, can you turn it up, please?" And I was like, but no, we were watching it, and I noticed the audio is mixed very interestingly because the dialogue is low, which I think is because of the bad voiceover. Like, they're trying to hide the imperfections. Yeah. But I love the way they film the cars.
Yeah, no, the
Like, you
movie's
can
great.
hear every little intricacy
So-
of the functions of the cars.
I almost feel like, not to get off topic a little bit, but I will just a hair. I feel like the voiceovers in the second one, Too Fast and Too Furious, is worse than the first one.
Really?
Really?
Maybe
I think that movie's like...
it could have been my TV, just not, because my TV's kind of like not the best. Like, it's fine, it works and everything, but there's times where like I felt like it was worse than the first one.
Man, Too Fast, that's a whole nother topic. That's
It is. It is. Like I said, I didn't want to get off
Yeah.
topic, but just with the voice.
Yeah, no, you're right, yeah.
Aspect.
Okay, I'm going to change my score.
Oh no.
I'm doing something I told myself I wouldn't do. I'm rating it just because of a nostalgia aspect.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
it's what I was trying not to do.
Because, so that
'Cause that'll be
DVD sitting there is the first DVD I ever got
Are you serious?
Yep.
Holy
That's
shit.
badass.
that I bought myself. That's the first Fast and Furious movie on DVD.
That's
They even highlight that it's widescreen, which is funny as hell. Like, ooh, widescreen.
Yeah, I miss when DVD boxes looked like that.
Yeah, I know. It just looks like something
goated.
really badass.
Yeah, that's what I was trying not to do, is because I have a whole, I'm sure we'll get into it, but I have a whole background of this movie that
Yeah.
like, changed my life.
Same.
So I was trying to base it off just the movie itself.
Well, I was going to
Having a
ask
stroke?
you.
My finger got tingly and
Oh
it,
my,
like
that's a stroke.
when you have like the gum that shocks you if you
Oh,
pull it
yeah,
or
I
like a
used to hate
pin.
that
That's what
shit.
it felt like.
I
It
used
was
to want
just
to punch those kids
ugh.
in the face.
Hey, Dima.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
So I was scared to ask you a minute ago, like, what your favorite Fast movie is, but then it had me realizing I have a favorite and it isn't this movie.
Really?
So I'm gonna knock it down to a part 2, so I don't do what I've done in our past episodes and go like, Dima, I fucked up. I shouldn't have rated that movie so high. So yeah, part 2. It's a really good movie. It does have its imperfections.
Yes. But again, it goes back to, like Cody said, it was lower budgeted, but it also was a early 2000s film. And I would never not preach that when we have an early 2000s film, because it was just it plays a big part in how movies were just made in those days
Yeah.
versus now, the technology we have now versus then. And honestly, it's a short span of time. But in the film industry, like, so much can change in just a couple years. More, it's 19, 20 years old or something like that. I think it came out in 04.
01.
01. Oh, shit. So it's 22 years old.
Yep.
And, so in that time period, just filming, writing, and everything else has changed so much. For example, I watched another movie, early 2000s. I think that one was the 04 movie. Little Man or whatever, with the actors from White Chick. Great movie. Hilarious. But, like, it's
a
just
very
that
fucking
time
funny movie.
period. Yeah, it's just that time period of when how movies were made. It's just got that early 2000s feel, and I feel like that's if this movie was made nowadays, like I probably would give it a 1.
Right. Yeah.
You know, a part 1, but
Well,
even
they
then,
didn't plan on this movie blowing up at all.
No.
oh
That's
really?
what's funny. No, they didn't
wow.
plan on this thing going anywhere.
That's wild. Yeah, I have I'm sorry. I have 0 like background for this movie. I've watched this movie for the first time ever 3 days ago.
Oh, really?
What inspired you to watch it, by the way?
So it was on Netflix. I'm gonna be honest. I saw it and I'm like, Kyle's been telling me to watch this movie forever. It's really good. I've heard Cody just rave about this movie. Like, I'll just watch it, see what's up. And great movie. Very satisfied with this movie to the point where like I've never been big into cars,
Oh,
but
boy.
watching this movie
Yeah.
got me looking up
I
some
know.
freaking cars. Like that Stingray car, I think I saw one listed for $123,000.
You know, it's crazy. Like, even those stupid little Eclipses that Brian was driving in the movie are so expensive now, solely because of that fucking
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
You can
that-
get a cheap beat up one, but like a clean Eclipse, you're not gonna find for cheap.
Yeah.
Same thing with a Skyline or an RX-7.
Skylines, yeah.
Like it just, and
Yeah, the
especially the
Skyline-
Dodge Charger. Jesus.
Yeah, the Skyline was 100 and some thousand for like a 97
Yeah, those are also
or something.
imported cars.
Yeah.
I was asking because it's interesting how this podcast even came to be. Like we've been planning on having Cody on forever, so that was already something in the works. But
I'm just a piece of shit friend.
you're a busy motherfucker.
I am busy, man.
No, but like we didn't really know what to do with you,
Yeah.
in terms of like a movie. Like I knew you liked this movie, and we had juggled the idea of doing this, but Jordan didn't want to. So good thing he's not here.
He
No,
would have
but-
been like,
Yeah.
It was interesting because the other day, if any of you listen to or watch Real Ones podcast with John Bernthal, he had David Ayer on, which is one of my favorite modern day directors. Just a super down to earth guy, very real, and that shows in his movies, which is cool.
Yeah.
But that episode is just insane, man. Like you listen to that guy's life, it's wild. But when he's talking about his works, one of the things that was interesting is that he wrote what this movie ended up becoming. So, like, if you go on IMDb, you'll see they credit these guys, right? Like, they're the ones listed. But if you expand it,
oh wow.
look who's down there at the bottom.
I actually didn't know that.
Now you know why
Dude,
that
that's
is?
so cool.
You know why that is?
No.
He was basically the cleanup guy. This movie originally was supposed to be like Italian Job. It was literally supposed to have I can't remember what like ethnicity of people,
Sure.
but it wasn't like just typical people in LA. Like it was like Italians or something like that,
Oh,
Puerto
wow.
Ricans, I don't know. And he said it was like European cars. It wasn't like, and he said, if you guys want me to make this movie right, you gotta let it be based in LA. And let it be based on things I know from my life, make it kind of street and make it real and modern. And so what this movie ended up becoming, which is now a multi-million, I think, billion-dollar franchise, maybe close to it. It started because of David Ayer, and he doesn't get a penny from the franchise.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he said he hasn't seen any money for it. He came in, literally changed what these other guys had cooked up. And not saying it was bad, but just saying, like, they wanted David to make something with it because he was riding off Training Day, which was his first screenplay, and that movie's amazing.
Great movie.
Yeah. And they were like, all right, you made that. Do something with this. And so he did, and now it's what we all know and love. And, I mean, now they're like fucking superheroes fighting in space.
Yeah,
Right.
We'll get into that fucking later.
It's so dumb. But it's crazy that it's such a big thing, and it's arguably what made Vin Diesel's career.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
and David
That
Ayer
Triple
gets
X.
yeah.
And the pacifier.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
It really is. It really is. It's funny.
I've seen that movie so many times.
No, but it's crazy that David Ayer gets no recognition.
So is that because he didn't want it? It was more of he just did
No.
it because he cared, or is it because he got screwed over?
This guy is just a real dude. He takes hits and he keeps on moving because that's how his life was. That's what he says on
Gotcha.
this podcast. I mean, yeah, this kind of shit's kind of like scummy and whatever, but he's dealt with a lot worse. So he straight up says, like, I've learned how to roll with the punches. I try to be a company man. I hope that one day it'll play in my favor. But he said Hollywood is just evil.
Yeah, so he just got screwed.
It's just, to
really dumb it down.
It's set up to fuck everybody except for who's at the top. And that's just kind of... So if you're a guy like him, real and grounded, and you say what's on your mind, you're going to be at the bottom of the screenplay list when, in all reality, you made the movie what it is. But I just thought it was funny that I send this podcast where David Ayer's on it, and then Cody watches that. He's like, dude, I want to do a podcast, like, now. Yeah. And now we're doing Fast and Furious, which is...
Well, it's the same day.
It's funny how that goes.
It's not just random, I'm telling you, man.
The day that I watched this movie was the day that you sent the podcast with Bernthal with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And I think that was the same day. Maybe it was the day after. I think it was the same day, though, is when you hit me up with those messages about getting Cody on this weekend. And I was like, yes. Like, it happened like that.
That's what I mean. It happened so fast.
Real quick.
And it's funny how, like, there's, like, a big full circle thing within this confined time space. Like, I don't know. It was weird. I was just thinking about that.
There's definitely a reason for it. We'll find out soon.
There's
a reason.
Well, I mean, you're here.
Yeah.
So you could spend quality time with me.
I'm excited, too.
This is so freaking cool. If you guys watch our old intro for the old podcast name, like, Cody was in it. He was always intended to be one of the main guys, but our schedules are so conflicting.
Yeah.
And he's also a dad. Yeah. So
it's rough right now.
Dude's busy. So it's really cool that he's here. It's a big deal. Anyways. But, yeah, just back to that, like, I just think it's funny how a little conversation or me sending a link to a podcast I was randomly listening to at work for whatever reason. I don't remember. I think it randomly just came on. I think I was just listening to podcasts on Spotify. Like, that sparked what inevitably led to Cody coming on the show to talk about this movie that we all like. I don't know. It's crazy how life works, man. Anyways. So, first thing I want to talk about is the directing. Because... I'm going to be honest. I'm a big fan of the direction style in this movie. Like, it's low budget, but I like how all the car scenes are filmed, which is what this movie's about, is the cars. Mm-hmm. Like, like when we first see Brian just trying to see how fast he can get his skyline to go, and it's like, not getting there, but the way that the camera's like shaking and trying to keep up with the car, like, it almost puts you in that moment.
The whole movie's fast paced. Yeah. Like, even if you watch Brian, how he walks, he's always walking 100 mile an hour. You know, that's what draws me into is it's so fast paced. It's always action.
But at the same time, it's slow.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, I felt like
the story gets to breathe for sure.
Like, so it was a perfect mixture.
They don't rush the plot of it for sure.
No, that's what's cool.
And I'm glad they didn't, because I feel like if they did, it would have ruined this movie 100%. But they used the right director and the right casting, and it made it phenomenal.
No, I agree.
I think it's interesting that this director, because he didn't really do too much I'm familiar with, other than Fast and Furious. Oh, he did the first Triple X.
He did Triple X.
Okay. I like that movie.
It's a good movie. Stealth, Boy Next Door.
I got a Corvette model card just because of that movie. Same color and everything.
Oh, really?
When he jumps it off the bridge.
That scene's badass. Okay. I still am not familiar with much of his work.
Oh, he did Miami Vice?
What, the TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Holy shit.
Oh, 3 episodes.
Oh, that's still though.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, anyways, I did want to say I like the direction style. I'm usually not the biggest fan of shaky cam.
No, I'm not either.
But it's used correctly in this movie. It's not used all the time.
It's used mainly when you're in the vehicle, looking outside the vehicle, which I thought was very cool. Usually that gives me a headache to see like all those lights just flying by with the sound and everything. Like, I feel like it's almost too much at times. But again, they complemented that very well, and they did it at the right times and the right way, and
they're probably working with what they had at the
the
generation
style,
you know.
Well, I think it just kind of complements the movie when it's used. Like, take our fight scene that we filmed. Say the choreography, I think we actually choreographed that pretty well. Say the choreography was terrible. that's where a lot of directors and all will be like, oh, just kind of shake the camera a little bit, add this shake effect. It'll kind of throw people off. Speed it up, make it quick. Like that's the kind of shit that's usually like how it's used, and that's why I don't like it in movies. But it just adds to it for me. Like if it was just a steady camera shot of the cars going fast, it would still be cool. Yeah. But it just kind of makes it more intense.
I feel like it makes, at least for me, it made me feel like I was there. Like,
that's what I'm
watching it, whether I was in the car or if they were outside the car or like outside. Mm-hmm. And the thing about this movie is it's a very legit world. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not familiar with the world.
No, that's how it was
very much, but like that's how it is.
Yeah.
I've dated a girl who was involved with that world very heavily, and just hearing the stories, and I was like, holy crap, like that's terrifying. But watching it, like I said earlier, like it made me want to like get into it and really figure out like what it's like and stuff.
Yep, it's a little different now, but I've been to those, like, I don't know if I can really say it, those takeovers up north and stuff, and that's how it is. I mean, it's kind of like that. It's a little bit more ghetto now, but I mean, it's very similar to that. Everybody doing donuts in the streets, running from cops.
That's why I always wanted to go to like one of those car events.
Yeah.
Dude, they're a blast, man.
Oh, speaking of which, shout out to Good Enough Garage, who like subtly sponsored this podcast in a sense. Our good friend Mason owns it and runs it with his brothers and friends. But Cody's been to some of their events.
So a lot of them. Actually.
But what's cool about their events is they actually like hire details. So like the police don't get called on. The police are fucking there keeping things straight. Yeah. Like, dude, Mason knows all the Springdale cops.
Yeah.
So it was cool when we first met him, and he like when we used to work at the mall.
Yeah, that's kind of what we bonded with him about initially.
The first one, he's like, "So you know Langevin?" I was like, "Dude, I fucking love Langevin." You know, and we just started talking, but it was cool. But see, I think he does it right. Like,
it wasn't. It's not. It's organized, professional car meet, which is it's nice, but it's also kind of fun to go to some of those ghetto ones.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Being in a car, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know when Mason threw me in his car when he was drifting. It was a couple weeks ago.
I forgot you got to do that.
Dude, that was the most fun I've had in a long ass time.
Different type of adrenaline.
It is, and it was just amazing.
The tires screeching, the sound of your engine, your exhaust. It's a whole new feeling that you just have to feel.
But what's great, like with that, he wasn't going as fast as they're going, and you could still see, when I looked out the window or out the dash, especially the window, you could still see it. It was just a blur.
Yeah, it's like you're driving drunk almost, man.
Yeah, it was just wild.
I don't know what that's like, by the way.
Oh, I don't either.
I just know what it's like to ride drunk.
Yeah.
Jumping out of the truck. Yeah, I know what that's like.
Where's my hat?
Good times.
Is that the famous hat?
No, this is a different one.
We were trying so hard to not talk about what we did the night before. I don't even know this. Jordan and I had a podcast.
Was that? After. I think I saw it, and he was like, "I was very drunk" or something like that. Or you said, I can't remember who said it, but I was like, "I was very drunk last night."
Yeah, I said that, and then Jordan was like,
"Was that morning?"
Yeah, because
okay.
And then Demo was asking questions like, "Jordan, why didn't you do this?" And he was like, "It got bad last night."
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I did see that. I wish you guys would have talked about it. That would have been funny.
Yeah, I don't know. We just felt like with the things he's pursuing in life, we probably should.
Yeah, that's probably
talk about certain.
That's very true.
Yeah, it was all legal, but
right.
That was a fun ass night, though.
That was a blast, and it made it more fun because none of us planned any of that.
Yeah,
it just turned into fucking something crazy.
Well, I'm starting to learn that's my favorite thing. Like,
it is.
As much as I love planning ahead, like I feel like this podcast was kind of last minute.
Yeah.
In terms of like, you go on my calendar, we've got podcast scheduled for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
But this just came up 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. I don't know. Anyways, I was gonna ask you earlier, what is your favorite Fast movie?
Oh, I'm trying to think of like in terms of the movie itself, or like
maybe with the greater story. I don't even know if it's a greater story, honestly, but because I'm going to tell you something. This will probably be a little controversial. I don't consider any movie past Paul Walker's passing to be a part of the franchise.
I'm close. So Tokyo Drift is when I was after that. I'm done. I know they had Fast 5.
Yeah.
With Paul.
Yeah.
But still, it's not the same to me. I watched it. I'm like, yeah, it's a good movie, but it just didn't do it for me.
So is Tokyo
That's when it changed for me. Tokyo Drift was technically the third.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the third.
So after Tokyo Drift, which has none of them in it, doesn't have Paul, Dom, or nothing in it.
Oh.
It's, what's that dude's name?
The
I follow him on Instagram.
The lead guy.
Yeah. I have followed him on Instagram.
It's the main guy into the main.
Sean Boswell?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
Sean.
That's
Boswell.
Lucas Black.
Because he comes back later on in fucking Fast 20 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah, which I guess that's cool, but so there's an interesting story. Oh, I guess I should answer my own question. I really like Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yep, I was going to go with Too Fast.
It is honestly my favorite.
I think it did a really good job of jumping from the first one.
I don't like Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I agree with he's okay.
He's okay, but I just don't think he's all that. And this franchise literally is riding on his shoulders.
It is, but I feel like he did a very good job in the first.
Like
in my opinion, I think he did.
From what he's accomplished,
no, for sure.
I just don't like him
think that's what they wanted out of him too.
Yeah, I think I think Dominic is like him. Like you know how actors are just like John Bernthal, The Punisher, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man. Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know, and
I'm not disagreeing. I actually really like him in this movie.
But I do agree.
He kind of just turns into like I said, like a superhero.
Right.
I don't even know what he is anymore.
And honestly, that's a big part why I've never watched it is because I didn't want to get interested in the characters and the story and all that because I've heard of where it goes and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't. You know,
I don't know what they were thinking.
But to me, I feel like they just keep making so much money. It's almost like the TV show Lost. I've never seen Lost. Like, I watched bits and pieces with my dad when he was watching the entire series years ago. Mm-hmm. But it just gets to the point where they're so caught up, like, oh, we just need to keep giving them more and more and more. They're losing their initial, like, what it was originally, and they don't know what to do. So they're just, like, bigger, more ridiculous. And I feel like that's where they went.
Well, yeah, they one of the last ones I watched, because I've quit watching them, it's got Tyrese and Ludacris are in a car that goes into outer space.
Yeah I've seen videos of that.
And I was just like, what is happening right now, dude? Like, I don't know. It's too much for me. And The Rock, which, I think The Rock's cool and whatever, but Hobbs literally is holding back a helicopter by a chain.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, no, that thing would throw you off your, no.
It's funny. There's one day I went from watching the first one to the very last one, just out of pure comedy. I'm like, dude, I can't even fucking watch the last one because it goes from all about cheap racer cars that sound like lawnmowers and racing. That's all it was about. Was street racing and trying to convict Dom. You know, that's all it was. Now it's turned into just, I'm not kidding, like the Avengers. That's what I feel like I'm watching is the Avengers.
I feel like Too Fast, Too Furious really hit the mark on the mix that I think the rest of these movies are trying to do, but they're failing at terribly because it has that element of street racing, but also like, hey, we're going to use you or you're going to jail.
Right, and
because that's what all
sense.
of the movies are supposed to be now.
Oh.
Like, it's like, oh, the FBI, the CIA, like, oh, we're going to use you or you go to jail. Yeah. And it's like, why? Your guys' trained teams can't handle this shit. Nope. You got to have fucking street racers.
Well, that's the thing is, like, in the beginning, the first two movies, and I can only speak on the first two because that's all I've seen so far, but it made sense with the FBI being there at that point in time because from what you see, it's a huge event and like obviously local law enforcement is going to have trouble with how big these people are in that world and everything. So it made sense for that one agent to be there to help out, give them resources from the federal government, stuff like that. At least, my head, I'm thinking this.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah.
But when you add... Before I go any further, I like Dwayne Johnson. I like his movies. There are people out there who say he is the Grim Reaper of franchises.
Well, yeah, he comes in when they're dying.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I feel like, what they have with him, they ruin. Like, once they brought him in, like, oh, well, this is just FBI now. Everything has to be bigger and more ridiculous. And that is the downfall of this series. They should have stopped after 3 movies or Tokyo, or you said that was the third, but like the 5th movie or what, they should have stopped especially after Paul Walker's unfortunate passing. I feel
that's
like
what
that
I mean. For me, that's when the franchise should have ended.
Yeah.
Is like the story they were telling, they tied it in a nice bow at the end. They had a cool thing between him and Dom driving off into the sunset.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's where you should have just ended.
Why are you still going?
That was Fast 5, right? He died in the middle.
Think that's
or
right.
towards
I
the
thought
end
it was
Google said.
7.
I don't know.
I quit watching them after that.
Yeah, I did. Well, that's my thing. I tried to watch the one after that, whichever one it is.
He made the full movie on Fast 5.
Yeah.
That's right.
His last one was Fast 7
Okay,
or Furious 7, I
It
guess.
was 7.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You know what's funny? James Wan directed that, like a horror movie director. That's interesting. It was his only one. He hated the experience.
It kind of looks like it's got a dark feel to it, just based on these clips. Maybe not.
Demon's ass.
Okay, don't watch it.
It's literal ass, dude.
Gotcha.
I couldn't watch them. I'm not joking. I tried. I just was like, what the fuck is this?
Their editing software, they use the ass filter. But, no, I was going to say, with Too Fast, Too Furious, for one, a lot of people act like that movie's unnecessary. And I think it's just because they don't like that Vin Diesel's in it. But for me, not being a Vin Diesel guy, I'm like, I was excited. Like, cool, let's focus more on Brian.
But I feel like Brian's he's the main character.
Yeah,
the only reason why
It's supposed to be him and Dom. Like, they're supposed to be, like, you got the one guy on the good side and one guy on the bad side, but they're brothers.
Yeah.
That's the story they're trying to tell. And I think it's cool.
But they do make references that
Yeah.
he's still involved. Too Fast. They do make references
They
about
do.
Dom and what happened in the first movie and stuff.
Well, did you ever wonder why
Like
Vin
heard
Diesel
you
wasn't?
gave away its 10-second car.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Stuff like that.
Did you guys ever wonder why he wasn't in it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I ever really wondered, but
Okay. Well, I did just because I was like, all right, obviously these movies are successful. That's why because it was only supposed to be a one-off.
I just knew they were in Miami. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
He went off to Miami and.
From my research, because I've listened to a couple of podcasts about the Fast franchise, actually over the past year, not just for this. Vin Diesel's kind of like an a-hole to a degree about what he's going to do.
Oh.
And that's part of why this franchise has become so toxic and like why him and The Rock had a falling out.
I was about to say him.
And certain people don't want to work. Like the director for these last, I guess, 3 movies, whatever, the trilogy, whatever the fuck they're doing. Like they literally lost their production staff and had to get new ones in the middle of production.
Dude, that is so bad.
Because he's just so controlling and like blah, blah, blah.
I can see that.
Oh, yeah. But apparently he thought that the franchise wasn't going to go anywhere. Again, this is just from podcasts I've listened to, so this isn't like a hard fact. But apparently he didn't think it was going to go anywhere. Too Fast, Too Furious happened. That was like a big success. Yeah. Huge. And it didn't have him, which hurt his ego a little bit, right?
So
he's like, this is going to die without me. And then they had Tokyo Drift coming up. And I guess like last minute, he was like, yeah, I want to get back in these movies. And that's why they filmed that end scene with him.
I was about to say, he has like a cameo or something
at the
in that
very
one, doesn't
end,
he?
Yeah, he rolls up.
That's what I've heard.
And then everyone was like, why the fuck was he there? Like, it didn't even make sense at the time these movies were coming out.
Yeah,
It was just
not
like,
at all.
it was just like, okay.
I was so confused.
Same. I was like, damn it, that's not who I want back in these movies. All right. But that's what happened. He basically was like, it's a one-off, moved on to the next project.
Wow.
Saw it was doing well without him, and he was like, I need to get back on that.
What about me, Kyle?
Yeah, kind of, I don't know. It's kind of scummy shit, because, like,
Yeah.
Paul Walker was sticking with it, like,
yeah,
let's do this. And Vin Diesel left.
Wow. Dude, that's actually really
Because he was originally
wild.
supposed to be in the sequel.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. So.
I mean, I guess
that is a fact.
They did write it in a very, perfect way, in a sense, with the fact that not having him in there still made sense to the story.
Yeah, no, it does.
And they did a very good job explaining why he wasn't there. And like you said, they did make a lot of nods towards Dominic and
they changed location.
So it made sense.
I just liked it because it felt
wild,
like a story about Brian and his life.
Yes.
We get background on him their past as friends and whatever.
Him and Rome were real cool.
Because he broke away from the whole cop thing. And then he got caught and they're like, we fucking need you.
Yep.
you're caught. You're gonna do what we want.
See, that would make sense.
I love
too,
that.
It does make sense. Yeah,
with
I
that
love that
background
whole
and everything.
storyline.
and it
It's
follows
so
up with
cool.
the first one because the first one
Exactly.
ends with Dom leaving in his car, and they know that he gave away his car, and it just ends perfect. And then it starts perfect. Him back street racing.
Yeah.
And then getting caught, and then be like, I know you're a cop or used to be a cop. I'm gonna fucking use you.
Yeah.
Because we're having a problem.
Dude, how could anyone ever trust him? Like, how could you ever know if he's really a cop still or not?
That's
He's so good at being undercover.
My thing that
No,
I question
I
is,
quit, man. I'm with you guys now.
Yeah.
do these people still know though? Like, do the regular street racers know about him being a cop?
Yeah,
at
they
one
do.
point in time?
Yep.
They do. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah,
They all find
that's fair
out.
then. Gotcha.
But they also all know that he went with Dom towards the end and gave him
Yeah.
a car.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Gain that respect.
Yeah.
I got some notes I want to highlight real quick.
We could use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Deem, have you cracked those donuts open yet?
I haven't. No.
Can we give a shout out to the show real quick?
To what? Oh, yeah, hold
Can
on.
you sing it?
Hold on real quick.
How funny is that? I told Tara, I'm like, I'm definitely wearing that shirt tomorrow.
What is that? Like,
Oh, come
Dude.
on. You know how many people ask me that? Because I have an air freshener that says tuna no crust in my truck, and people are like, the fuck does that mean?
Well, one of the first things about you that I was like nutting to, I'll just say nutting for this, is your Instagram handle. Like when I first met you, it used to be tuna no crust.
Did it?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
I was
that don't
like-
surprise me.
And I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. My TikTok profile picture is a picture of Paul Walker standing next to his Eclipse in the first movie.
oh, is that?
Yep.
Oh,
Demon.
because in the
Nice.
restaurant he gets the tuna no
Did you
crust.
really watch this
Correct.
movie?
Yeah,
Dom's
because she's
like,
like,
God damn you.
she's like,
Nobody likes the
you
tuna.
come in here, the tuna sucks. It sucked today. It sucked yesterday. He's
Yeah.
like, she said, so the tuna? He's like, tuna. She said, no crust. And he's like, no crust.
Okay, now I'm tracking.
It's just become a thing.
Okay, that yeah.
That's why he said he's hooked by her fish.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a
Okay.
double
Now
entendre.
I understand.
Yeah, so shout out to Cody's shirt.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Love it.
Now that Demon knows what it
Now
means.
that I know what it is, I love it.
I'm going to get one that says Demon's a dumbass. And he's going to be like, what's that mean, Kyle?
I can't believe you haven't seen these movies before. I just assume
never.
that everybody has.
Same.
Like,
Well,
even if they're not interested, I feel like everybody has.
what's the rating on this movie really quick?
It's, where the fuck's it?
PG-13.
6.8.
Dude, anything PG or
Yeah.
up, Dima wasn't allowed to watch.
Are you serious?
No, I was.
Oh.
I was. It was rated R that I typically wasn't allowed. But no, I never had interest in. Like I said, I never really cared about cars like that though. Like I wasn't a big car person.
See, I was.
Or anything like
I
that.
have a whole Yeah, go ahead.
I'll say, I'll let you, because I'm sure your story's longer than mine. But I always was a big Hot Wheels person when I was a kid.
Yeah, like I like
Loved Hot Wheels.
but-
I love remote control cars.
Yeah.
And I loved any video game, even stupid fucking NASCAR games where you just go left forever.
Yeah.
I loved
Oh, I
any
love
car
those.
game that involved,
Need for
because dude, my
Speed.
dad got me like a steering wheel and pedal setup for
Okay.
my PS2. I was all about that. I had, dude, Need for Speed Underground
Yeah.
came out after this movie. Was
Yeah.
definitely inspired by this movie. I was obsessed. I made cars that looked just like the cars in the movie.
Oh wow.
My favorite was the 350Z just because the way it whipped turns and shit. It was so badass. But I was obsessed. And I was actually telling Debbie last night, my mother-in-law, that I made car models for the Skyline and the Dodge Charger from
Wow.
this movie. Like, they literally, the box said Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Those were the first 2 car models I ever made.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was obsessed. I was going to the store. This is going to really age me. I was buying car magazines, and not just magazines that had pictures of cars, but sold parts that would be in a souped up car like that. And I was like fantasizing about like, oh, it'd be cool to buy that for a car. It'd
Yeah.
be cool to... So it was crazy. I was enamored by this world because of this one film.
Yep.
That's wild.
So yeah.
Yep. Same here, man. I mean, I can get all into it if you want me to.
Go for it, dude. You used to
Dude.
be into this car shit. I mean, you...
Well, dude, there's so much to it, though. This is going to take me forever.
Go for
I'll
it.
try to sum it up. It kind of gets a little dark, though.
That's perfectly fine,
It
Cody.
gets a little dark.
That's where the stogie comes in on our name.
Yeah, so ever since I was like a little kid, I'm probably like 5 or 6 years old. I'm sure you guys know my dad was not a great father to me. I think I've told both of you that. I don't know how much I've told you.
This sounds kind of fucked up. But that's kind of how you and I like started
Yeah, it is.
clicking.
Yeah.
Just talking about
My dad was very mentally, physically abusive. Not a good dude. It's all good now.
Yeah.
It's never going to be fixed. But this is where I found, like, no joke, my first happiness was cars. So I remember when me and my dad, we watched this movie. And I was so just astonished by everything. Cars, the noises. Just a kid.
Yeah.
Typical kid. So my dad was either sports or cars. I couldn't have any other hobbies. And so I remember my dad used to go buy me these model cars of Fast and Furious. Mm-hmm. So that's all I played with when he was drunk, throwing shit around. That was my happiness, was going and play with these stupid cars. I used to watch this movie on repeat while playing with these cars. Mm-hmm. Just as a kid, it just helps with the imagination. Like I thought I was Paul Walker, playing with these stupid cars and whatnot. So growing up, I always obviously had a fascination with cars. And then skip forward to my dad, getting arrested and everything. I finally got a Mitsubishi. Well, you guys seen it, the Lancer Rally Art
the fucking subwoofer is that bitch, dude.
Yep. So I got that car. That kind of like kicked off everything. Still was always in the cars. And then I got that Mustang at like 21.
Rest in peace to that Mustang.
Yeah, rest in peace to that Mustang. And I started going to those like Dayton takeovers and all those car meets and stuff. And I've never felt more alive.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever been to a car meet or like drag racing or anything.
I'm letting Mason down. I got to go to one. Gotta go to one.
Just a movie quote. Dom is not joking for that quarter mile.
Oh. Nope.
You're alive, dude. I'm not joking. Like, there's something about it. I remember like driving home on 75 at like 2 a.m. with my buddy from a car meet. And just fucking gunning at like 120, 140 miles an hour. Just hearing that Mustang roar. And then your buddy next to you, his car's roaring. There's nothing like it. It's a high for sure. It's a blast.
I have been in a car going that fast, and you are absolutely right.
Yeah. It takes everything away. And I think that's what it goes back to. It stems to is my freaking... Obviously, we all have trauma from our stupid parents that were shitty. But obviously, it still affects you. And then like... You just kind of grow up with that.
Yeah. And it's funny how we hold on to those like little things like that, It's funny because my dad actually is the one that bought me my car models. He's the one that got me into it.
Yeah, that's same. My dad was a fucking dick.
Because my dad was all about car models like when he was a kid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He basically like tried to give me anything he was into when he was a kid, which was cool because he was into really cool shit. Yeah. But yeah, the car models, like I remember sitting there and just He got me this really complicated monster truck, though, and Dad, I'm still kind of pissed at you for this. I couldn't fucking build it, and I remember being so upset. Dude, that thing was so... Like, it was for, like, expert level, because they have them, like, rated on the car models. This thing was so intricate, man. Like, you had to build the engine.
Oh, my God.
And then, like, put the casing on it, and then go... Like, every little fucking intricate detail. But I was sitting here thinking, like, oh, I made the Skyline and Charger. I should make a monster truck. Like, no, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't even
10 years old, like,
Mandalorian
gluing
together.
the steering wheel on the fucking axle. Like, you know what the fuck I was doing.
And it was like something you and your dad probably bonded over a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what it was 100%. For me. It's like me and my dad didn't get along until we started watching these movies and he started buying me these model cars. I'm like, holy crap, this is pretty cool. We actually get along for once. And that's what I remember is like the first 2 movies is like, that's my childhood. That's the only thing that I had that me and him had in common because I loved sports, but he pushed it so hard that you just don't like it anymore.
Yeah, dude, there's another full circle thing really quick. So you guys know we referenced the mall a lot that we were mall cops at. We also met Cody there.
Yep.
Cody was actually my first friend that I made there.
Yeah,
fun fact.
I remember
I was an outsider. I was a joke. I worked in retail, and I hated my life. And his boss at the time used to come in, and I'd hook him up with deals. It was kind of corrupt, but he'd get new movies for like $5 that other people were paying $35 for.
Who is that, Reg?
Reg, yeah, dude. He'd come in and be like, man, my wife's going to kill me if I pay full price for this. I was like, I got you. Just scam like multiple 10% off coupons. Like, but anyways, like Cody would come in with him, and like sometimes it was for a call, and we'd kind of briefly talk, usually about Taco Bell, which is really weird. You'd be like so do you eat Taco Bell? And I'd be like, yeah, man, I love it. And he'd be like, yeah, I'm trying to like stay in shape. And he's like, I'm not sure if like the calories justify the.
Dude, I remember telling you, I'm like you should be a mall cop with us.
You were one of the people that made me start thinking about
come on, man. I think you'd be good at it.
And Reggie was doing the same. Like he was always trying to recruit me.
Yeah.
Because I was calling them so much. He was like, you got a good eye for this shit. You should, you know.
Yeah, I do remember that. You used to nut to that shit.
I went to the doctor and was suffering from high levels of stress.
Yeah.
I forget what the gland's called, but it's in your armpit. It's crucial. Like if you get a virus infection, it can kill you.
Your lymph nodes?
Yeah.
In your armpit?
Yeah.
They were swollen?
Yep.
Really?
Really bad.
From stress?
It was from stress.
That's scary.
I went to the doctor. They said,
that
whatever is causing this, you need to change it. It was 100% that job.
Wow.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. You work in fucking retail. You got a dickhead district manager. It's tough, man. Like, nothing's ever good enough. You always feel like your job's on the line for, especially because I was the store manager, so it was bad. But anyways, I was desperate for a job. I was making pretty good money there, though. We weren't making shit as mall cops.
What do we make, like $11 an hour?
Yeah, I took a big pay drop and everything. My family thought I was a joke, blah, blah, blah. Best decision I made in my entire life.
That's one of the biggest highlights of my life.
Dude,
It is. No, it's not even one of the biggest. It is the biggest highlight of my life was that mall.
It built
Working
my life.
security with
It
you
sounds
guys.
ridiculous. It built my life.
Yep.
You guys are all sitting here with me because of that fucking mall. Like, you were the best man at my wedding, right? When you first came to the mall, I was pissed. I was pissed at Cody for telling Joe to hire you. I was like, this dude's fucking cringe. I don't want him here. He's a friend of that's not good. Like, I was just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy. Like, it's crazy how fucking everything works, you know?
It's funny how, like, because I brought Jordan there. You know, I brought Jordan. I brought Dima. Yeah. We recruited you because we liked you. And then we made our own team, basically.
Yeah, we really did. I ended up fucking taking over that.
Gosh, dude.
I was the boss.
And that job could have sucked. I mean, you guys remember, did you guys work with there? Was that her name?
Could not
Fat girl?
stand.
I think
we were there.
Right before
I joined after she got fired for the lie about the bike or whatever it was. Yeah, but she was a regular of mine in FYE.
We really just kind of fired her, didn't we? We made that shit up.
I used to question Joe so much about that because we can talk about it now. Like, the mall's done. She can't do shit about it. We had this girl that worked in security prior to me working there, but she was terrible. She tried to, like, instigate and make shit up between people. And, like, I remember Reggie telling me, like, a straight-up lie she made up about, like, Jordan or something, like, saying something to her that he never said. Or I don't know. Terrible person to work with.
Yeah, just a bad person.
But she wanted to be bike patrol, right? And you know that bike that I fixed up and started riding?
Yeah.
It got retired because of her. They said she fell off of it and bent it.
Yep.
And I was like, that doesn't make sense. She was a bigger girl, but I'm like, I could put a 600-pound person on that bike and ain't gonna bend. It's a fucking Smith & Wesson police bike.
Very nice.
They don't even make those anymore. That's why I still have that thing. That thing's a classic.
Still have that?
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
I love that bike, man.
My ex threw mine away.
No.
Yeah, that Cannondale that I had.
Dude, it was so light.
Yeah, it was a nice bike.
So light. Wasn't it carbon fiber?
I don't know if it was carbon fiber. It was just, it was one of those like Cannondales. It was really nice. I got it off of auction.
I remember.
Auction.
Wow.
Because I remember one of those events where you and I had our bikes out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I had to pick both of our bikes up to move them because they were like parking a police crew. I was moving our joke asses out of the way so the real workers could park.
Yeah,
but I picked
what a
up
cringe.
Hey, we had fun. I picked up Cody's bike, and mine's over here like 80 pounds, and his was just like lighter than a feather. I was like, damn, dude, this is nice. That was a nice bike, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But anyways, Joe tried telling me she got fired because she broke the bike after being told not to ride it, or I don't know. I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
And it took forever for us to get that bike program back.
Well, that was the other thing. That story is the reason they got rid of the bike program.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, yeah, you got rid of her, but then you lost the bikes.
Yeah.
We just wanted the polos. That's all it was.
That's all I wanted to do. I mean, I loved riding my bike.
I did too.
I was in great ass shape when I was doing that.
That was the problem. I was tired of feeling fat. Because all we did was like go get food and eat and get Starbucks.
That's what I'd say. The 2018, because of that job, was the best year of my life.
Oh, dude.
All right, I'm hitting the stop button.
Yeah, we're gonna go all the way. Yeah.
I've wanted to do a podcast with me, you, Cody, and Jordan,
Yeah.
where we just talk about mall days.
Yeah.
And so I want to save that load.
That'd be a 2-week podcast.
Yeah, it'll be a 4-parter.
Best fucking time of my life, man.
Yeah, I can't. That's definitely a podcast we'll do. I mean, we went on Film Junkie. We went on someone's YouTube channel. I don't know if you know that. We got interviewed on a big YouTube channel. It was really cool. But when we talked about how we met, because he asked us, and we said, well, we were mall cops, dude, he literally spit his drink out, started laughing his ass off. And all the people in the comments were like, I gotta hear about this. Blah, blah, blah.
I wonder if there's gonna be anybody that's like, I remember you fuckers, because we used to fuck with people all the time.
That's what I was saying. What if someone that we banned
remember the music videos we were in our golf cart?
The fucking drones.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
We're literally in a music video on
Fucking
YouTube.
rapping.
I remember y'all showing
We're
me
in
that.
a rap music video.
I wish I knew that guy's YouTube.
It says "fuck the ops" and we're
we're going by in our golf cart.
we're jokes. God damn it.
Oh man.
Anyways, that's gonna be a great episode.
I can't
know
wait for
people
that.
want it. I want to do it, so it'll be fun. But before I lose my train of thought, the full circle thing is, you know what got me to the mall? I wanted to work at Suncoast, which was owned by the same company that owned FYE.
Yeah.
They got closed. I got transferred. Met Cody. The rest is history. The reason I wanted to work at Suncoast, I had dropped out of college, didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do with my life, but I knew I loved movies. I loved movies because my dad used to take me to a place called Suncoast when I was a kid. Suncoast Video is where I got my first DVD, which is sitting right next to you.
Wow. Ain't that fucking crazy?
That's wild.
He used to take me there every couple weeks, and that was literally the first movie I bought.
Where'd that thing go?
Right there. Yeah, so full circle, man. Literally just the
full
biggest,
fucking circle.
The biggest fucking full circle. It's so crazy.
We're here today because Kyle bought a movie.
Dude, I met my wife because of that.
Over a movie.
My dad woke up one day, decided to take me to Suncoast Video for the first time. I was hooked. I used to love going there to get action figures, Pokemon cards, whatever dumb shit they'd sell. But mainly movies. I love movies. Yeah. He would get movies for his DVD player. That made me want to work there. That ended up making me want to work at security. Met you guys. Met my. It's wild, man. It's just crazy.
Here we are.
Yep.
Have y'all seen the prices for action figures? Oh, God, I'm a nerd. No. They are so They used to be
it's a hot market.
$10 for an action figure. $10.
Dude, all right, yeah,
I spent a lot of money on those $10 action figures. There's up to $30 some.
When I was trying to decorate the office for the podcast, we'd go into Jungle Gyms. They have that big collector section. Some of those are $50 to $60, and it'll literally be I don't know, something
fucking
stupid.
That.
Well,
Star Wars guy right here.
Yeah, the short ones. The short ones. Here, let me get this for the camera. So
that's my sweet Darth Vader.
Literally, the packaging will be bigger than a cereal box. I don't know where. Oh, yeah, camera. For something like this, right? And it'll be $60 fucking dollars.
Here, guys. This is what it looks like.
Hold up to the mic. Tell the people how much.
Vader.
I should not be doing this for any reasons. Anyways, but yeah, it's just it is crazy.
I used to have a wall, just a shelf wall, and I used to have every single car that was in the Fast and Furious movies. Every single one. I used to clean them with a toothbrush. I remember as a kid cleaning
I thought I was a collector.
I was obsessed with Fast. I'm not joking. I was obsessed with Fast and Furious. That's all I had.
Yeah.
It was I couldn't play video games because my dad wouldn't let me because of sports. So it was either sports, and the only thing he
I had to sneak video games.
Yeah, I eventually was allowed, but
that was the only thing with me and my dad. His work schedule, he was barely home, so that's how I was able to kind of get away with shit. And then he'd find out, and I'd get my ass kicked. I almost got expelled for school.
Yeah,
because I missed 3 weeks. Yeah. And when that came in the mail, he's like, "How the fuck has Kyle not been to school for 3 weeks?" I told my mom I was sick every day. She was like, "Oh, you poor thing." That was all it took.
Yeah, I eventually, as I got the 6th grade, he would start to when the Xbox 360 came out. And that's when he was like, "All right, you're getting to be a teenager, or whatever." Yeah, because that's what all the friends did.
Good time too, Call of Duty and shit. Yep. Yeah, it's a good time though.
So, but before that, Fast and Furious cars. That's all I had. Model cars. Play with them.
I sympathize for you because, dude, it was so cool for me to have Need for Speed Underground with the steering wheel and the shift stick and the fucking pedal. I literally had a chair and I felt like I was in a car.
Dude, do you remember the adrenaline it gave you?
So much fun.
Like my palms were sweaty. I loved it.
Yeah,
that's where I got hooked, man.
Need for Speed was the GOAT back in the day. I played that, and then I had this. I don't even remember. I'm sure I got the box somewhere at Mom and Dad's with
Burnout, Gran Turismo.
No, it was a 4-wheeler racing game, and you could customize your own dude.
Oh!
You could customize the
ATV
quad.
or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yep. Dude, it was the best fucking game. That was my favorite game ever.
That was a good game.
It was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Those are actually just getting worse now.
Yeah, they are. They're just trying to do too much with them.
Yeah, they just need to keep that shit simple.
I meant to point out some things about this movie.
Oh yeah, we got way.
I knew this was gonna happen.
We're so bad about tangents.
I know, but we all are.
Yeah, that's
we
what
could go on forever.
Like if we have a special guest on, like we had Ryan Madden on for The Wrestler, and he got to talk about wrestling, and that was cool. I feel like you and I are pretty tamed.
Yeah.
But like, if you or Jordan are here and it's just us two, it's just, dude, when it's us four, I don't know what that's gonna be.
No, that is literally going to be like a 6-hour filming thing that we're just gonna have to put out in parts.
That'll be a Red Band episode on YouTube. Like watch at your own risk.
Yeah.
All right. So first thing I noted was the audio sounds in the car because throughout the whole movie, I love all the little like tss and fucking.
Yeah, that was really cool how they did that.
So cool.
The extra little details.
Cody, this is the only time I'm gonna mention your line of work.
Oh, yeah, I knew it was going to come up. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. It's fine.
All right.
It kind of puts a big part into it, too.
Well, yeah. So when he gets arrested, they bring him back, and he's talking to everybody about, like, the case, and they're unhappy with the progress. Like, it's not going fast enough, whatever. And things get tense, and then the one guy's like, hold up, let's get some cappuccinos. And
yeah.
Do you guys ever get fucking iced cappuccinos and sit down like that? That bothered me. That's a big nitpick in this, because not only is it just really out of nowhere, because it's not like he comes back with like paper cups that you get at a gas station. They're literally glasses that have these big frothy cappuccinos on ice. And it looks like a commercial because like Paul Walker's holding his and he just sets it down. He doesn't even drink it.
Yeah, he doesn't even fucking drink it.
And I'm just like, did these really do anything for this movie?
And he's like, I need a cigarette. He's like, you don't need a cigarette. You quit smoking. Get the man a cigarette.
Well, like, is that... I don't know. That just felt a little...
No, that's not. I've never seen anybody with an iced cappuccino. Usually it's a bunch of old grumpy dudes going to use the fucking Keurig. I'm just, dirty coffee water or whatever that is.
I have to believe that even David Ayer didn't write... Like, that has to be one of the other writers, because it just doesn't feel necessary. It doesn't even make sense.
There's a few things in that movie. Like, the same scene. When he first comes in that building, I don't know if you've ever noticed, on the right side of the wall, when he first comes in, it has Dominic's picture... like a wanted poster and everything, along with some of the other characters, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
because I didn't notice it for a long time, but that's a small detail that in that same scene.
No, that's cool. I didn't notice that.
See, that really surprised me. I remember, I don't know if I put it in the group chat or if I just messaged you directly, and I was like, "Wait, he's a fucking cop." Mm-hmm. And you're like, have you never seen that? And I was like, no.
Well, that's what makes it such a good story.
Yeah. Like, it really
because you don't know
to me right there, because I was like,
you don't know
like,
first.
You don't know.
You think
they
just
just
tell.
They
working
surprise
for
you.
Harry, this guy that supplies all these cool things for cars, and he's got an infatuation with this dude's sister who's a badass, and so I mean, I love how they kind of sneak that in on you.
Yeah,
it's cool.
he just like shows up in cuffs, and then you're like, oh fuck, you got arrested, and then he's like starts talking to him like they're friends. They're like, oh, he's a cop.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do favorite Savage scenes if you guys have any with Maya, because there's a couple. My favorite one, you guys will probably disagree with me on this because it's so fucking good. It's at the house party. So like, Brian saves Dom, right?
Yeah.
Everyone else just goes back and celebrates. Like, oh, hopefully he makes it home.
Yeah.
So like, he takes Vince's beer.
Yep.
Gives it to Brian. Like, I don't know. It's pretty badass. Well, actually, I think this is later in the movie. I think I'm confusing scenes. But either way, they're in that same house. They're like in the kitchen or something.
Yeah.
Maya's next to Brian. Vince leans in the doorway. He's like poking the bear again. Mm-hmm. And she's like being all like, Vince, what was that restaurant you were taking me to?
That's mine.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells her, and then she turns around like, hey, do you want to take me to...
Yeah,
I was like,
that's badass.
Damn, dude.
My favorite part about that was like, he just asked her out and she shut him down. Yeah. And then Vince comes in and she's like, yep.
Savage, man. Savage as fuck. Okay, and again, because I already know this in my notepad, why the fuck did Brian just get coffee at the restaurant? That's all he has.
At the one with Dom?
No, with Maya. Like, they're sitting down their date at that table.
Oh, yeah. I've never noticed that, actually.
And it's weird because he's literally, like, there's scenes where it's not in the picture, and then there's scenes that start with him looking like he had just sipped it.
That's funny you said. I've never noticed that.
I'm like, what's with the random coffee in this movie? Because it's not even product placement.
Must be just a cop thing.
They hide products in this. The only product I could see was a Red Bull, and that's in Dom's hand in the garage. Clear as day. But, like, I think they have, like, Miller High Life beers or something. Can't even tell what the fuck they are. Well, but they do a good job of hiding products in this movie. But I don't know who was writing this movie. He's like, street racers need coffee.
He's got fun.
Like, you go to a restaurant, like, yeah, I'll take a black coffee.
Yeah, I'll take black fucking coffee with my hot ass wife here.
I want that pussy shit. I don't want cream and sugar.
Yeah.
You know what? Sweep some dirt off the floor and put it in there too while you're at it.
I want it to taste like dirt.
Yeah.
That is all you're drinking right now, by the way. Just dirt.
I like when it tastes like dirt.
Yeah, you got some stuff left from yesterday.
Yeah.
Dude, I've
Hey,
tried.
fun fact. I actually think, like, let's say I make coffee in the evening.
Yeah.
That next morning, I actually drink the same coffee. If I make a pot. I think it's better.
I've done that before.
I don't know why.
I've done it before.
Just gives you that little kick. I don't know.
It's like it gets a little stale and it
a little bit of staleness.
adds a little extra spice to it.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm like that.
I want to come on here and be dumb. Like dumb hyped.
Yeah.
I'm kind of. I drank a coffee on the way here, and then this motherfucker.
Remember when you and I tried that L carnitine at the mall, and like we first were walking around together, and you kept like looking at your watch and slapping it, and you were like sweating.
I do remember that.
And then I turn around, Cody's just gone. So I go down to customer service. I'm standing there, and then he fucking laps me. He's like walking. I was like, "Dude, you good?" And you were just like, "Yeah, I'm fucking ready to go."
I do remember that. Oh, it's a little shit, man.
Dude, we were drenched in sweat though.
Oh my god.
A little shot of that crap, man.
That's
what was that dude's name?
Joe.
Joe. It was Joe.
Yep.
Is he still there?
No.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting back at the mall. Sorry.
Mall's closed.
Yeah, anyways.
Oh, that's right. Oh
quick tangent, but that was fun.
No, he was gone in like 2019, I think.
You know, I seen him not too long ago in Springboro.
Really?
Oh,
we saw him in Fairfield a few years ago.
Oh yeah, when we were getting our carpet. Yeah.
I also seen the dude that owned the Gold Star, well, whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
I seen
Phil's
him walking into the
favorite
building.
person.
Phil?
Remember when Phil towed his car?
Fuck,
Told him
dude.
to
Fucking
make him
Phil,
cheese
man.
conies.
He's such an idiot.
That was a great day.
Oh my god.
He really just was there, wasn't he?
I don't know if you know about this. It might happen after you left. We got Phil. We had a shift where like all of us were on second shift for whatever fucking reason. It was one of those weird nights where we just talked to Joe and like, hey, let us all stay and be dumbasses. Yeah. We got Phil to go to that chili spot and order food with him working.
Yes.
And he knew that Phil was the one that towed his car.
Did he say anything?
Dude, he didn't, but we told, because Phil came back and said, oh, yeah, what of it? And I was like, dude, he's back there fucking shitting Cody, man. Like, that is not going to be chili.
He just whipped up some diarrhea in your chili, you dumbass.
I was trying so hard to get him to go up to the... All right, let me give backstory really quick. We had a quick period in time, didn't last long because the mall shut it down, where we could tow cars on site if they were parked in a fire lane. Yeah. No questions asked. Yeah. Oh, there's a car. Tow it.
We were told to do that, though. So
we were told to do it, but we did kind of take it a little far.
We did, but
the car literally would pull in there and we would tow the shit out of it.
Still
running.
Fire lane.
us competent security guards knew how to do things corrupt, but within the confines of not going over the limit.
We could articulate it.
But then we had Phil. This guy literally was like in his 50s or 80s, lived at home with his dad in a trailer. Like, it was bad, guys. But he goes out one day. I mean, it was every day, but this day in particular, he goes out and decides, I'm going to see how many cars I can tow. I'm sitting in dispatch. He's calling in cars every couple of seconds. I can't remember what kind of car it was, like a Charger or something.
I don't even know.
It was a brand new sports car. We all knew if we see this car, it's the owner of this place in the food court. Leave it alone. He's unloading shit. Phil towed it immediately. He started his shift. It wasn't 15 minutes into the shift. Phil's like, oh, I got a plate. And then he's like, dog beef door, because he doesn't know fucking.
That bothers me so much.
And I'm
dog beef door.
Literally, I have video of that. And I'm trying not to laugh. I'm like, clear Phil. And I was like, Millennium's en route. I didn't know it was Chili Spot's car, dude. I wouldn't have called it in. And then when he said, owner of Chili Spot's out here, he's kind of mad. I was like, what? So anyways, guys, we towed an owner of a restaurant's car. They filed a claim with my office. We couldn't tow cars anymore.
Yeah.
But this man, Phil, goes to the guy's restaurant after the fact and orders food right in his face. So that leads me to what I was going to say. We were trying to get him to go up to the counter and say, yeah, I'll take 4 cheese conies and make it quick. I got cars to tow.
Oh, my gosh. Did he do it?
No, he didn't.
Oh.
But we were trying to get him to so bad. Can you?
There's only so much I can do. To the point to where I just cringe out, man. I would have left. I would have quit.
So fucking
So that's why you handed your notice.
I couldn't do it anymore. Were those notes really real that dude left on third shift? Those were fake, weren't they?
Wait, what notes?
Hey, Jordan.
That left for Jordan.
That ain't real, is it? Oh, I didn't think so. There ain't no way nobody's that stupid. It's like, hey, Jordan, have to go to hospital. I remember he sent that to me. I'm like, there's no fucking way, man.
That was something I fucking got Jordan on.
Oh.
Because he would show up in the morning. He'd be the first one there. And he hated that guy on third shift. Hated him.
I liked him.
Just thought he was an idiot, dude.
Well, yeah, but I liked him.
He made my job as director a pain in the ass. But he showed up for third shifts. I was like, cool, we got a solid third shift guy. But I left a note on the door, which Jordan would believe because he had done it before. Yeah. And it was just really
bad.
Jordan was just like, dude, what the fuck is this? But I ended up telling Jordan it was me, just trying to fuck with him. But he did say, is it bad that I believe that was real? I was like, no.
I believed it because Jordan sent it to me. I'm like, that ain't real. There's like, I was like, there's no way somebody's... Yeah. It's like, it's not even like...
My favorite part was when it said, like, my mom's is sick.
Yeah, it says Jordan with a T.
Like, mom's plural.
But it's funny because you put Jordan, comma. Like, there's some sense there, you know? My mom's had an emergency.
Emergency, yeah. No
period.
E. No E.
I had to leave with 2 E's. Period.
The best part is you wouldn't know this. He spelled his own name wrong.
See, I wouldn't have known that because I didn't know him.
Because Jordan he was so mad that morning because he still thought it was real. He's in my office and he was like, dude, he even fucking spell his name right. Like, throws the paper. Dude, me and Dima were pissing our pants.
Gosh.
So good. But anyways, I feel bad because that's like, I just told Cody at his fire that Jordan throwing the old man out of the mall.
Yeah.
You guys are just, that's like, what, 4 years ago?
Dude, yeah.
You guys are just now telling me.
Hey, if it helps you feel better.
That was you?
I've only known for the last year.
As the old man. Yeah, he believed it for a while.
Why did we...
we showed Joe, and Joe was showing Tom and, like, people in the mall. Oh, and that's when Jordan and I were like, dude, we need to tell Joe this is fake.
See, that's one of the ones that would have made me cringe.
But can you believe Joe, as director, thought that was real and didn't get mad at Jordan?
I mean, Joe backs us up all the time.
That's where I was like, all right, Joe's cool.
We did it, yeah. And he would back us up.
Yeah, he had our backs.
Gosh,
100%.
we did so much stupid shit.
Dude.
How are we not in jail?
That's why I can't wait for the podcast, because it'll be really fun. Because, dude, we can air all the shit we want. Yeah. It doesn't matter. The mall's gone. Her's gone.
We gotta look up the legalities of that.
Well.
Is there still like a statute of limitations for that shit?
We should probably double check.
Here's the thing we need to see is if the LLC for is still active. I doubt it is.
That would really suck if we all got subpoenas to court.
Because that'll mean that is as the VP, he's still gonna be paying taxes for something that's not existing.
That's true.
Unless he
because we yeah.
I don't know. We'll check into that.
Yeah,
dude. We just gotta do the
podcast.
Yeah, we gotta do this. So we're gonna go forever.
I know you're gonna agree with this. Maybe you didn't think about it right off jump. When they do the SWAT bust raid on
the
Tran and everything, the music that's playing over it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It almost reminded me of if you would send me a song this would be cool for an edit. Yeah. It's a
badass scene.
It's a really cool song. Here, I'll play the song really quick.
I wonder who picked that song. Can we find that?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah, there it is.
It almost sounds like a Rob Zombie song or something. or like Ramstein.
It's even better that it's like the 2000 SWAT gear and shit, the MP5s.
Yeah, dude, like they're busting doors down.
That's when they didn't give a fuck.
Dude.
Gosh.
So fucking cool. Can't play too much because of copyright shit. But
yeah.
I was like watching this movie and I was like, I think this is like my favorite part of the movie and I always forget about it. It's just so cool. Like you see Brian putting on the mask and then like kicking out the door. And then
but he knows he's doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know he fibbed on them on purpose to get a false lead. So he knows that they're going into nothing.
Yeah.
But just to disrupt the dude because Dom hates him.
I love where Johnny Tran's dad like slaps him like you've disgraced me and
that culture.
Dude. Yeah, I made Debbie laugh last night because I was like, that's what happened when he got bad grades in school. SWAT taking him away.
Fuck.
Were y'all stressed, though, like, after that, worried that Johnny recognized him in the SWAT uniform? Like, saw his eyes and was
I was kind of wondering that.
Like, because I was like...
Paul Walker's got some pretty distinct eyes.
Yeah.
These things are bluer than the freaking sky.
Yeah.
I mean, just the way they played it off, it didn't seem like it even was a question that he knew.
Yeah, but I was still worried. Like, I kept anticipating him, like, throwing, especially when him and Dom got into it, Johnny and Dom got into it. I was like, he's going to figure out, like, once Dom said, I don't rat, I've never been a rat or whatever he said.
Yeah.
I was worried he was going to put two and two together and be like, it's Brian.
There's a lot of moments in that movie where he's, like, gets called out.
Yeah.
You're a fucking cop. And he plays it off so fucking well. You're a fucking cop.
Another nitpick I have, because I think I only had 2. Well, no, 3, because I'm with you guys. I didn't even think about the dialogue. I was so like fixated on the car sounds in the movie, which that's something they got away from in this franchise big time, and it's too bad. It's just like how cool the cars were in this movie. Mm-hmm. Like Too Fast, Too Furious still plays on that very well, but then it just fucking goes.
And then I don't know if you guys watch Tokyo Drift. They do a pretty good job on Tokyo Drift too.
I love Tokyo Drift street race scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking good.
They did really good in that movie.
I saw a TikTok where they like edited like a compilation of like the street racing in that movie. Like, you know, I always talk about like Asian culture, how they have all the neon lights and stuff. Like the way they edited a TikTok with the music,
that looks badass.
Because it's got like some EDM over it. It just sounds really cool.
I don't know if you guys noticed, it went from like these Mitsubishi Eclipse, like all these low end cars that they fixed up to, even in Tokyo Drift, it was the same one. They had an Evo in there. Mm-hmm. But as soon as they go to like Fast 5, it starts turning out to like just supercars. Yep. That's all it is. Supercars, Lamborghinis. Nobody gives a fuck. Yeah, that's what made that movie is like, it was like someone made up that car design. Yeah. Someone had that taste. Yep. And then they went straight to, I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini and put it in my movie.
Yeah. I'm going to, again, credit David Ayer because he said in that podcast, he's the reason they used the cars they did.
Yeah.
They were originally going to do European cars and try to do some Italian job type shit. Mm-hmm. And he made it LA street racing.
Yeah. And even in Too Fast, you know, when they do that scene where they're getting hired pretty much and they work for what's his name?
Yeah.
They do a good mix of like Dodge Viper in there. There's a Viper. They have my car in there. They have a Celine in there.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. That's what kind of kicked off my interest in that car. Was that red Mustang, the Celine, when it gets ran over by a semi. Yep. That was my car. And then they have Brian driving an Evo, riced out Evo, and then this Mitsubishi Spider. My dad had one of those, by the way.
Yeah, Mitsubishi Spider's sick.
And
sick.
They did a good mix in that movie.
Yeah. What's the one he's driving backwards in that
That's
movie?
an Evo.
That's what I thought. Okay.
That's like an Evo 8.
Yep.
Evo X.
That whole scene is so cool.
Yeah, that's a cool scene. God. Oh, it's such a badass scene.
It is.
But the thing that's so great about these movies is, you know, if you're a part of this world, I feel like it's a very believable aspect where you could think like, is this based on like real people at one point in time? Mm-hmm. Or with the cars that they have versus you saying like they got the Lamborghinis and like the fifth one where you're like, all right, this has definitely never been a true story.
They got like McLarens and stuff that there's only like 5 of them made. And they're like, well, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so I go into these franchises now. Like I said, I only wanted to do the first one. Yeah. I would be open to doing Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
If you'd want.
That'd be a whole pod.
Yeah, that is definitely my favorite.
I would say it's my favorite. Fast and Furious, the first one's great.
Like it's nostalgia.
It's nostalgic, but the second one, it kind of kicked it off for me.
Yeah. Plus, Brian in this movie is just so fucking cool. Like, everything about him. The cop aspect, undercover, being drawn toward the bad side of this world of, like, underground street racing.
It literally led my life. Look at me. I swear.
You could say that about me. You know?
It's crazy.
I get this DVD at Suncoast, now I'm here. Like, it is crazy. And I just remember being obsessed. Like, I'm not a big car person, but a big part of my upbringing, I was obsessed with car video games and shit, and it was because of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember always thinking, like, I'm trying to remember what it was called. A Tiburon, like a Hyundai Tiburon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted that to be my first car in high school.
That's funny.
Because they were like lower end in terms of like cars in general, but they had a sporty look, but they were cheap. They were kind of cheaper. So I wanted that to be my first car. But then my grandpa was all like, "Oh, I want you to have a Chrysler 300." And I was like, I don't want a fucking Chrysler.
These things are fast though.
Yeah, they are. But it's because it had a classic look. He liked the look of the car. And he would always say, like, oh, I'd help you get a Chrysler convertible. And I'm like, I don't want to be pulling up the skull in a Chrysler. Like, I want something cool looking. And Tiburons kind of had, like, a 350Z look to them. Just they had that kind of rounder, sleek look.
I think those were in Underground.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, my first car.
What led me to it, honestly.
I wanted either the Mitsubishi Eclipse, but like Brian's first car style, the green one. Yeah. I liked that style. And then my dad ended up actually getting the Mitsubishi Spider, which is the one that's in Too Fast that Tyrese drives. Yeah. And I also wanted what's called a New Edge Mustang. That's the one I had, that body style. I was obsessed with like that Cobra New Edge body style because that was like 2001, 2002 that body style came out. Yeah. And that's like kind of I was getting old enough to like look at cars. We used to play like Punch Buggy. Yeah. I used to play that with my dad, but Mustangs.
Yeah. So wait, I think I was confused on something. The green car is a Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
In the beginning. I called it a fucking Skyline earlier, I think. Oh. So I want to correct that. Yeah. Or else people will be like, oh, he's a fake fan.
The Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Yeah. I always forget that it's the Mitsubishi.
Which is a very fucking slow car, by the way. Stock. Very slow car.
Really?
Very slow.
Oh, well.
It was just a 4-cylinder banger. That's all it was.
So and then they added it needed the NOS.
Oh, did he? Yeah, so he had a turbo in it. Yeah, it had NOS. And then, it's funny that they say, like, when they pop the hood, he's like, oh, it's got, Jesse's like, oh, it's got a cold air intake, and, blah, blah. That's all minimal shit, like, nowadays.
I was going to say.
That used to be cool. That used to be a big thing. Nowadays, they're putting that in stock. Okay. So, like, when he's like, oh, it's got a cold air intake, like, everybody has a cold air intake now. It doesn't really even do anything to your car.
That's what I was thinking, but I was like, I'm not the biggest car guy, so I'm like, maybe I'll be wrong on that. But I was thinking that last time we were watching it. I'm like, he just kind of highlighted stuff that doesn't need to be highlighted. Yeah. Like, oh, man, it's got a steering wheel and gas cap. Like,
it's got an engine. It's got a motor in it.
It's got a turn signal. Like, people know where you're going.
They still use those 2.0 cylinder, 4-cylinder car engines. That's what my Eclipse had. It was turbo, though. It was quick. Or not my Eclipse, my Lancer, sorry.
My first car was going to be a Chrysler LeBaron with a V6 turbo.
Those things are quick.
It was a badass. It looked like a gangster car, dude. It was a car my dad got for fun from his buddy, and it had an issue with the ignition, and we tried to bypass it with a push start. Like when I got my driver's license, because it was meant he was going to give it to me. He was going to be my first car. Couldn't get it going. Damn. Ended up getting it towed, and I got the Plymouth Breeze as my first car. Paid my grandpa a whopping $200 for that.
That's funny.
Wow. I drove that thing like it was something special, man. That car, I feel bad for that thing. I went hill hopping one time and bottomed out really bad.
Oh, shit.
I actually think you and I drove down the road. And I told
is that the car you were
Yeah.
in? Oh, shit.
I literally hit one of those hills, dude. I was fucking in the air and it just dropped. And I felt it. And I remember like something was wrong with the car and my dad was like, all right, you got to take it to the shop. The guy came up because we took it to tire discounters. Yeah. Guy came walking in and talked to us in the lobby. He was like, yeah, so it's just got a fuel pump issue. He's easy fix. He said, but the rest of the car is really beat up underneath there. He said, did you get caught on a rock or something and drag it? And I was like, no. My dad just looked at me. And I was like, really, Dad, I have no idea what that is. But in my head, I was just picturing bottoming out on that fucking hill.
It's funny you say that. You know my Buick that I have?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Ghetto ass Buick.
Yep. I love that thing.
And I was like 16, went to the county fair, and went mudding in it. I mean, to the point to where the whole car was just mud. Like, the roof had mud on it. Just
That's
caked
hilarious.
I remember my mom got so pissed at me. But anyways, it's funny you say that because I went to get tires put on it like a year later. And the guy came out and was like, was this thing, like, found in the bottom of a lake or something? And I'm like, thinking in my head, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I kind of forgot about it. He's like, yeah, there's like seaweed or something all over the bottom of the car.
Oh, shit.
I looked at my mom, and I was like, and she looked at me, and I was like, we both knew, like, that's from like a year ago. From me fucking mudding at the fair. Oh, good times. I remember that thing started smoking real bad. Good times.
There's something about older cars like that, man.
Well, that was my grandpa's too, and it's just like that smell and everything getting in it, and it's just.
That's why that Chrysler, man. I wish I could have driven that thing. I used to. That sounds lame, but like when I was 15 and had my temps, and I was like getting ready to be a driver, I'd go sit in it and picture driving it, and I love the smell in it and everything, and like. I remember when my dad got it, he used to take me out at night and fucking go flying through neighborhoods. That thing, like, dangerous shit. But it was fun, man. Yeah. That car got it.
My mom actually the condos that we lived in, there was a lake there. It was, like, just, like, right down the road. Mm-hmm. My mom used to, when I had my temps, she used to let me drive down there. So I would go fishing, like, 20 times a day. Just to drive. Wait.
So you were driving just on your temps?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember one time,
my
mom doesn't know, so I'm sorry. But I was like probably a week away from turning 16. Mm-hmm. I was like, fuck it. You know? Yeah. So it's not even that big of a deal, but my heart was racing the entire time. So across the street from where I lived, there was a Kroger. It was like an outlet in Monroe.
Yeah.
And there was a Wings and Rings. And my friends were like, hey, let's go to Wings and Rings. So, me being 15, I was like, I'm going to drive over there just to be cool. Because my friends were driving there. Yeah. I didn't want to be lame. And have someone pick me up or something. So, not even joking. I mean, it's literally across the street. Like across State Route, what is that? 63.
Yeah.
And I remember just being so nervous. I had my seatbelt on. I put my phone like in the glove box, like 10 and 2. Like, I remember when I pulled in, a cop was in front of me.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like, what are the odds? But anyways, I made it. I was good. We ate dinner, went back. Mom never found out. My heart was pounding.
So I have a similar story. It actually happened several times, though. My mom did not take me becoming a driver seriously at all, and I loved it. Kind of like she didn't take me not going to school seriously. Yeah. It was just, she was cool, man. So I drove almost a year illegally. Didn't even have my temps.
Oh, my God.
Oh, shit.
She took me to apply for my temps. I didn't actually get them, but that was enough for her. She let me, literally from that, she let me drive home. And then she'd come pick me up from school, let me drive home from school. And when my grandma and dad found out, dude, they were fucking pissed. I bet. Like, I was literally illegally driving for almost a year. Then I get my temps. And she let me drive down the street to get her, like, cigarettes and shit from the store without her. Like, dude, she just didn't take it, like... Gosh. So I was really fucking good at driving.
Yeah.
By the time I went to, like, Bick's driving school and took my... Like, I was comfortable as hell. I remember falling asleep in those classes because, like, everything he was going over, which is mostly common sense shit, but everyone else is sitting there, like, paying attention. I'm just like, I know. Yeah. Like, all the weird street signs and shit that people might... I was like, I already know what that means. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So it was cool she was like that. Yeah. But it was so fucking illegal.
I didn't tell you guys the story about me getting caught drag racing.
No.
I didn't tell you guys about that?
No.
You guys don't know about that?
No.
That was a big part of my life. That was scary. So I was an explorer. I was balls deep in explorers. And
was that before you?
Yes.
Okay.
I was a county. But anyways, I had my truck, the Dodge. Mm-hmm. Did you guys ever see that? Doubt it.
No.
But it was loud. It was somewhat fast. It was like the 5.9 liter. Last year, the 5.9 liter was before the Hemi. Mm-hmm. And my buddy after school was like, hey, you want to race? I actually said no at first because I knew better. And I was like, whatever. Didn't really think much of it. I'd done a lot of stupid shit in that truck. And that thing was so loud. Had no exhaust on or anything. It was straight headers. It sounded like a race car.
Dude.
And so we go down to this back road. I forget the name of the street. but it's just like a straight country road in the middle of nowhere, of course. And we do a rolling start, 3, 2, 1, go. So he had a like old piece of shit Chevy, and I was in my truck. I was smoking him. I'm not kidding, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah. This was a big turning point in my life. So I'm racing him. I'm smoking him. I was smiling. And next thing I know, I look in my mirror and there's lights behind us. Like fucking, like way back there though. I'm like, so in my head, I'm like, do I keep going? Maybe he doesn't know exactly what we're doing, Oof. So he catches up. He's in a Crown Vic. This is how long ago that was.
Damn.
And that just made me feel old. So I pull over, keeps going, and he goes flying past me. I'm like, okay, maybe I don't know, didn't see me. I was just hoping for the best. You know what's really funny about this? I pull in, so where I turn around was just like a energy source pull in, like those little gravel roads.
Yeah.
And guess who's sitting there looking at deer? My stepdad.
Oh.
My fucking stepdad. So he's in his Jeep.
What are the chances?
Exactly. Dude, see, this is why I believe nothing happens for no reason.
Yeah.
I truly do.
I'm with you on that, man.
So I pull in. I make eye contact with my stepdad. So he sees the lights go by and everything. He looks at me. It was like one of those like looks like,
oh my god,
dude, he knows. He's like, Cody, man, because he was wild when he was a kid.
Sure.
He kind of is the reason why I kind of got wild with like dirt bikes and stuff because he was the same way. And he looked at me like, fuck, like what is he gonna do to help me?
Yeah.
And so he eventually stops Seth. He pulls over and the deputy's like screaming at me. Fucking turn around, come back here, like come pull up next to him. So I come pull up next to him. I'm freaking out, dude. I think my life's over with the whole cop thing.
Sure.
That's all I wanted,
Yeah.
And this deputy's roasting me and like going off because we're both kids. And he's like, I mentioned something about being an explorer, which was probably the worst thing to do.
No, yeah.
In my brain, it was like gonna help me.
Right.
He's like, you're a fucking explorer?
Oh shit.
He's like, with.
Oh shit.
I was like, I said, yes, sir. He's like, get the fuck out of the truck. Yeah.
Oh shit.
This is an older guy. And the whole story after this is funny. It still sticks to the point nothing happens for no fucking reason.
Right.
So he gets me out of the truck. Guess who shows up?
Oh no. Skinner. Oh shit.
Oh.
You got
4 cars deep.
Were they in uniform or in their personal?
No, they hopped in their cars because they all have take-home cars, but was in plain clothes. Showed up to the stop.
That's even worse.
I'm not joking, made me cry. I mean, they were fingers in my face, like boot camp, like sit on the fucking bumper, you dumbass, like going off on me. And while he's writing us tickets, so they wrote me a ticket for reckless hop. Wow, I mean, there's nothing they can do.
How old were you? 17?
16.
16? Oh, damn.
And
talk about a time to have an experience like that.
Well, the problem is, like, right when the week after I got my license, I ran a stop sign in Trenton in the middle of a neighborhood. See, this is another thing. There was a cop sitting there doing a report for a domestic that he was just on.
Oh my god!
I run through a stop sign. He sees me on accident. I didn't even see the stop sign.
Sure.
Right.
In the middle of a subdivision.
Right.
It was like one of those weird 4-ways. He gives me a ticket too.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then not even like a couple months later, I get pulled over for drag racing, and
oh my god,
and that all happened, and I left. I remember I felt like my life was over because I have to call my dad.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's the thing that sucks with shit like that. You always feel like, man, I gotta call my dad.
Yeah.
Hell, I still do that now.
Yeah, so I call him. You know how my dad is. That was awful night. Yeah, and then so funny story is the deputy didn't even work that section. He was on his way home from a detail.
Oh,
in Liberty Township, just on his way home, and past the road that we were on. So it's like there was a T's. So there's one long stretch of road, and then that's what we were on was the T.
Yeah.
Again, what are the fucking chances?
Nothing happens for no reason. That happened for a reason. I don't know if it was because I was getting kind of crazy, and God said like, I need to put you in your fucking place because you're gonna die.
Yeah, it's.
I was doing donuts and fields and stuff, going through cornfields in that truck. I did some stupid stuff. I was a little redneck.
I've had a moment like that, very specifically.
I was drag racing all the time.
I felt like it was a wake up for me.
Yeah, and so that happened, and I did it. I still to this day think about it.
Let me ask you, because I got lucky in that I didn't have trouble with police until after I turned 18.
Gosh,
and then I got my first speeding ticket in Indiana by an Indiana State Trooper.
Yeah,
still to this day, the most expensive ticket I've ever had.
Wow.
It was over $200.
Holy shit.
I think it was like $276.
Holy shit.
Oh, so listen, I was on 50, and usually the speed limit's like 55 or something like that. But it was 2 something in the morning, and I was going to get fucking McDonald's for my cousins. I drove through a construction zone.
Okay.
That wasn't active, but all the signs were still
Right, yeah. That'll get
okay. So, I will admit, I was going fucking over 80.
Whew.
So, in normal, that'd just be going 30 something over.
But in a construction zone. So, what is that, minus 10? I don't know what Indiana is.
So, for that construction zone, I think it was...
Usually like 45 or 50.
I think it was 35.
Holy shit, dude.
Man.
Because, like, I remember when my dad was talking to a lawyer or something. I don't know. My dad was a hero in that situation because he got me out of some shit, man. I'll just tell you how I came out. It's a funny story, actually. So, like, I get pulled over. I'm crying, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is awful. I didn't know I went through a construction zone.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not active. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, no, dude. He threw that on the ticket. He was lecturing me in the time. Like,
Probably why he was sitting there, to be honest.
I'm sitting there like,
100%.
dude, I'm going to fucking jail. I have the worst things going through my head.
Yeah.
I'm driving my dad's car. It wasn't even my car. Got my dad's car. I didn't have any proof of anything on me because, well, I did. I didn't know where to look because I'd never been pulled over.
Oh, shit.
So I was panicking, and I'm like crying. I'm like hyperventilating. He just said, never mind, we'll get it from you later.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm so fucked.
Yeah.
Well, so long story short, after phone calls, blah, 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 get a court date set up because we ended up finding out where he clocked me was actually prior to the start of the construction. Like, we actually drove out to Indiana, went to Route 50, like, literally where, like, okay, this is the street he was on. Here's the, and it was close, but where he got me, I was not in the construction zone.
Dude, you got lucky.
So, well, we had the proof of that, right?
Yeah.
We're taking pictures and all this shit. Car fucking has a flat tire on the way to the court date.
Oh my God.
My dad's driving me, and we're literally going down that steep ass hill down the road from my dad's house, and we just feel it like starting to drag and kind of bump in the back.
Oh,
and my dad was like, "Oh fuck, Kyle, I don't know if we're gonna make it." I felt my heart pounding again. So I'm like, if I miss court, like bench warrant, whatever the fuck, like I'm fucked, dude. He calls the fucking courthouse, and he actually gets to talk to the judge on the phone.
No.
I swear, we're pulled over on the side of the road. We got AAA coming. We're not going to the court date. He actually sets up on the phone with the judge an arrangement for me. So I had to pay half the ticket, which, is like $100-some. And I got put on probation for a year. I wasn't allowed to legally drive in the state of Indiana for that year's time. If I got caught driving in Indiana, I had to pay the original ticket price. My license was getting suspended, and I had to go to driving school again.
Holy shit, dude.
I had to do that, so.
Okay. You know how much I fucking drove in Indiana before
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, I don't know why I was so fucking dumb. And my dad would even say, like, oh, I think it's stupid for you to be risking it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they would. I know you probably didn't know this at the time. I don't think they can suspend your Ohio driver's license. And they would probably say your Indiana driving rights are suspended.
Okay, so maybe he just meant from, like, driving in. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think they have authority or jurisdiction over Ohio.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, I was young
how that would work.
Really fucking ignorant. I didn't know what the fuck was going
Right.
on. Like, I was just thankful my dad was handling everything because I was willing to go to jail over this. Like, it wasn't that serious, but that's where my head was at, man. Because
Well, they could have anyway. I mean, I don't know the laws in Indiana, but they could have anyway for reckless ops, right? Or they could have.
easily
well, that was the thing. So in the court hearing, I was deemed a danger to the public because of how fast I was going into construction.
That would be the reckless op.
And it
That's
was
what it
like,
is in
dude,
Ohio.
it was fucking 2-something in the morning.
Yeah.
Like I think it said like 2:41 a.m. on the ticket. Like it was
Holy
so
shit.
fucking late. Yeah.
I had a lot of run-ins with the cops, man.
But see, I'm kind of envious of you because I feel like that early kind
It
of
did.
like lets you start learning about this shit.
And it actually helps me with my job.
I got away with so much
wow.
shit in high school, dude. So much. Like I was like, oh man, life's fucking easy. People are dumb getting pulled over by the cops. And now I'm sitting here with all these fucking tickets.
Yeah.
I've had my license totally suspended. I've had my car put in the impound. Like, my driving record was a fucking mess,
So was
man.
mine. Look at me.
I had an SR22 for 3
Yeah.
years. 4 years. It got extended.
Yeah, dude, I got pulled over by...
Fucking...
After everything that had happened, my license got suspended, but with driving privileges, so I could go to work and stuff. Yeah. I got pulled over on my way home from work when I worked on the farm by a trooper. And guess what petty-ass reason she pulled me over for? In the middle of rush hour traffic.
I'm going to say plate light out.
Light or some dumb shit.
Close. So it was in the middle of the day, though. My truck had a front bumper guard.
Okay.
Like one of those push guards. And it was covering my front plate.
Oh, my God.
She pulled me over for it.
Dude.
Yeah, and gave me a ticket for it. Well, during all of that shit, this is after I got pulled over by Trent. A ticket. I got a ticket for reckless stop for drag racing, and then she gives me a ticket for this. I was like, "Are you serious? I'm on my way home from work. I'm literally covered in dirt.
Yeah,
and grease.
That's ridiculous.
And that pissed me off, man. I met her.
Oh, really?
Just recently.
Oh. No.
Yeah, I did, and I mentioned it to her. No. So she came to our PD and was doing. So we have an intoxilizer machine. So wherever they get an OVI or something, they go to that nearest PD that has one to do their tests and stuff. And she came there. And I was like, man, this girl looks really familiar. And I don't know if you know, but like, there's not a lot of female troopers in this area. There's one in Dayton, one in Warren, and there used to be one in Butler. That's 3.
I'd assume that because most of my tickets are from troopers, and they've all been guys.
Yep.
Yeah, most of the troopers I see just driving by.
I don't know why that is, but... There's only been 2 troopers in the county. That's what she told me.
Oh, wow.
2 female troopers.
Yeah.
So I told her, I was like, I think you gave me a ticket. She's like, oh, yeah? I said, yeah. When I was 16 years old, you gave me a front plate ticket. She's like, oh, are you sure it was me? I'm like, she's like, what time? Like, what time? Like, what year? I told her the year, what it would have possibly been. She's like, yeah, that was me. I was like, you like, fucked up my life over that. And she's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I had a lot going on. Like, my dad, same thing with you. Like, my dad was a dick to me, but man, he got me out of that. Paid for an attorney.
Holy shit.
Funny story too. Gosh, this is weird. I actually went up against that attorney in a trial.
Oh,
for a pursuit.
Shit, dude.
The same one that helped you?
Yep.
Holy shit.
I went up and I won, by the way.
Hell yeah, dude.
And
life's crazy, man.
Isn't that crazy? I mentioned that to him too. I'm like, dude, you were my attorney when I was a juvenile for drag racing. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? And he was really cool about it. I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, yep, sure is. And what are the odds, you know?
That is awesome.
Here I am on the stand. He's roasting me, trying to get this dude out of a person that was an attorney, actually, he ran from me.
A few short years before he was doing the same for you. That's amazing.
Man.
Nothing happens for no reason.
Yeah.
You don't... This doesn't need to stay in the podcast if you don't want.
I'm just talking at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. So because of everything that, like, these cops did for you, and you saying, like, everything happens for a reason... Do you really, like, use that to help you be a better, better
absolutely.
in your job?
I tell my story all the time to people. Mm-hmm. Like, I truly think that people that, let's say you, from 16 to 21, you had a sugar cake life. Never got in trouble. Right. Never did anything stupid. You just followed, the laws like everybody probably should, whatever. Anyways, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't do drugs or anything crazy like that, but
Same. Yeah.
I did a lot of stupid hooligan stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got in trouble for it, obviously, like we were just talking about. And I swear, I put everything on the table that it has made me a great cop because I have that empathy, sympathy for these people that like people do stupid stuff, man. And I get it, and I know what it also feels like to get in that kind of trouble.
Yeah.
I know that emotion that you're feeling. And I know what it's going to do to your life.
Yeah.
Because I've been through it. So I give a lot of breaks because of that reason. And I don't know. There's some things you can't just pass up. But I also try to help them in a sense. Like I don't kill these people with tickets.
Yeah.
Like if I catch you drag racing, you're getting one thing. I don't know what it's going to be depending on the circumstances. I've let people go for drag racing. So I don't know. It's definitely made me a better cop.
I've had cops give me passes on stuff.
Those are usually cops that have been through it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought, like, back when I considered being a cop, that, I don't know much about guns. I don't know much about the law, but I have a lot of life experience.
Yeah.
And I'd have, like, a lot of Springdale officers that we work with, they would always say, like, man, Kyle, you'd be a great cop. Like, I would just get asked about, like, my mom's situation. Because I found out, like, Joe was bitching to them about how I was calling off all the time because my mom was sick. Because she was sick. Right. Like, he didn't believe it at the time, which we patched that all up. And I get where he was coming from, but, like, I'd have Langevin ask me, like, So, Kyle, what's going on with your mom? And then we'd go sit down in the food court and talk for 2 hours. And he'd be like, man, that's crazy. He's like, I know people in jail that have been through the craziest stuff, and that doesn't even compare.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I'm not trying to sit here and sell myself or anything.
Right.
It's just like I've always thought to myself that would probably help in that line of work.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
We see all the time now. There's so many cops out there that like either they're bored in life and they're like, that's something I can probably do.
Yeah. Or they have like that. They want that title. That's the biggest. I can tell within 2 seconds after meeting a cop, like, you're doing this just for the title. And it's people like, I've been through domestic violence. Like, my dad used to beat the shit out of women. Like, cops were always at my house. But I swear on everything that has made me such a good cop. There's times where I go to domestics to where I almost like, I got to get out of here. Like, I'm having an episode, like, I got to get out.
Yeah.
And I would start like, or I'll meet up with the victim. Be like, look, I know exactly what you're feeling right now. You need to get the fuck out of here. You know?
Dude.
Stuff like that, that it helps me make a decision because I know what they're feeling.
Right.
That's what has always conflicted me. Like, yeah, I decided not to be a cop, but like when I was going to college, I originally wanted to go to be a caseworker.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
Yeah.
Just because I always wanted to do something. Like when my dad would sit me down and have a real talk with me, because like I wasn't taking school seriously and blah 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 blah. He'd be like, "What do you want to do with your life?" And the only thing I'd ever conjure up was, I like helping people. Because I've always liked helping people genuinely. Yeah. And as lame as it sounds, that was a draw to being a security guard at the mall. I was like, get that. I'll get to help people sometimes, which definitely did. Yeah, I would say sometimes we actually saved lives, as stupid as that might sound.
Oh, we have saved lives there.
Yeah. So there is something about helping people I've always been drawn toward. And so, like, I get, like, these guys are like, oh, I could be a cop. Because, like, yeah, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life at a point. And, yeah, I was thinking about being a cop. And the conflict I had was, like, yeah, there's shit. I don't know how I would show up to it. And I'll tell you right to your face, Carol, I don't know how the fuck you do it. I don't know how I could show up to shit and not let my emotions get the best of me. Whether it's like, I'm going to fucking pummel this dude's face in for beating on a woman or a child. That's my
problem. That's my problem right there.
Or I can't handle this. I need to leave. Yeah. Like, either scenario, you're not doing what you should be doing in that case. You're not helping anybody. Yeah. And that's what scares me. But it's also like, if I could do it, I would be helping people, man. Yeah. You know? So it's like, it sucks that I feel like I can't trust myself enough. And that was a big part of why I ended up not doing it. And yeah, like Abby definitely didn't want me to do it. And I feel like it's just not what we wanted together. So I'm not going to like blame her at all. Right. But yeah, I can admit I was scared of it, man. Like when I'd sit down and think about some of the aspects of the job, I didn't trust myself. It's not that I'm afraid of getting shot. It's not that I'm afraid of like, oh, I might crash my car and get hospital. Like, no, I was afraid of what I would do on the job.
Yep. Anytime I see a guy beating on a woman, you're a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
And I want to beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
I will never lay a hand on a woman because that's what I was raised around. I think you are a coward if you do that. And I think you deserve to be spit on.
That's where I'm at, man. That's a big thing with me is like, I want things to happen that aren't like by the law to some people, like depending on the circumstances. Like, I don't know if I've ever told you this, Cody, but my mom's side of the family, like, you know, my mom's sick and everything. What sucks about that is my mom was such like a good-hearted person and so nice, but you wouldn't know that if you knew her life. Her and her sister both got uncle and her dad.
That's awful.
And it's, I don't know, it's hard to like think about that and not feel rage. So just thinking about it, I feel that way. Just talking about it right now, I feel that way.
You want to put a muzzle in this dude's
mouth. If I show up to
a
fucking house and I see a dude's done that to a woman or a child.
It'll happen too.
And I got a gun on my hip. Can I tell you I won't shoot them? No.
Yeah, it's hard.
I can't. So I'm telling you right now, I respect the hell out of you for being able to do that. Because that's a big part of why I said no. Yeah, like, that's why I was just like, you know what? I don't need to be out there being a cowboy and get myself in trouble and then I'm not here for Abby anymore. Right. Because I don't know. I don't know. Hell, just being a mall cop. There were times where, like, you guys would have to check me because I'm fucking wanting to pummel somebody over some dumb shit.
There was a few times.
Dumb shit, dude. Just stupid shit. You could probably relate to this, too. Like, knowing there's, like, a history of trauma. And then, like, I mean, your mom, you know, has dealt with illness, which that's your business. I'm not going to put that out there. But, like, that was another thing you and I related on. So, like, having all that and then seeing a dad who handles things physically it's hard not to have all that culminate into you just wanting to fucking handle things like that. Like,
yeah, and there's that.
You know how many times I've like stopped my dad from fighting somebody? My mom was at the fucking hospital. He was trying to kick a dude's ass for taking his parking spot. Which, I'll give him this. I wanted to kick the dude's ass too.
Yeah.
But it's just like, we're here because my mom's in the hospital. She's sick. Like, can we just not do this?
And since it's your father, it gives you that weird feeling. Seeing them getting pissed off. My dad used to punch the dash and stuff after, like, every baseball game. Baseball game, football game, it was nothing but pure rage on the way home. You played like shit. It's something about it being like your family member that you look up to. It's your parent.
Yeah.
And you know they're doing something that's not right. Just your spirit can tell you that.
But it's almost like ingrained in you to think that's how you handle things just because you grew up witnessing that. So, like, even though I know, like, if I saw a cop show up and start beating somebody up for something, like, oh, that ain't right. But if I'm in their shoes, oh, fuck, I'm going to think that's like, oh, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to handle it. So
it's all about that mental, to flip that switch and be like, there's times even in a relationship where I'm like, I see my dad.
Yeah.
I get pissed off or something. Cause
my anger management's terrible, man. And it's something I credit Abby a lot for. I've definitely gotten better about, but
you have to. It's either you let it go and be just like your fucking dad, or you take control of it and be a better person. You change that for your generation. That's why I look at it.
Yeah.
I catch myself and I walk away. Whatever I got to do.
Yeah.
I will not be like my dad. I refuse. That's probably one of the main reasons I became a cop was because I saw the shit that they did to help all the time. You know, how they made me feel. Like, I looked up to them like, hey, they're taking their shit serious. They're helping people. This girl just got her shit knocked out of her. Yeah. You know, but it was weird seeing them take my dad in cuffs and stuff all the time. Right. Yeah. But I knew they were doing it for right reasons. That's probably why I became a cop, really.
Yeah, dude, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, like, I'm not saying all people who, you know, been through, like, serious trauma like y'all have would make a good cop, but I think some of the best cops have all been through that, you know,
or criminals,
yeah,
and just decided to change.
You know, it's not that they're holding on to that in like a unhealthy sense, but they hold on to it to know, like, how can I be the best version of myself, and as you know, in this line of work and stuff like that. And I think that, you know, some of the best cops, I remember when y'all were talking about getting pulled over and stuff, on my way to the mall, working third shift, it was New Year's Eve. Like, I just got hired pretty much, and haven't been there a week yet. Westchester dude pulled me over for speeding because I was running a little behind, like, my kind of late. Not, you know, I wasn't going to be late to work, but in my eyes, I was going to be late. He pulls me over, and he asks, like, what am I doing? And I was like, just trying to get to work. He's like, you ain't been drinking? I'm like, no, sir, I'm on my way to work. There's my bag. Here's my uniform. And he's like, I ain't looking for speeders. And, like, that just told me, like, you know, this dude, he needs to be a cop. Like, he's the perfect cop because he cares about, you know, who he pulls over and what his job is and stuff like that. And I just, you know, I respect cops like that.
I can't stand the cops that, like, oh, but it's our job.
Yeah.
No. You have full discretion, at least in Ohio. You have full fucking discretion over what you do and what you decide. It's the fucking robot cops that I can't stand that, like, oh, you're 5 over, I'm writing you a fucking ticket. Without thinking, like, this person probably has money issues. Yeah. They probably have a family. You just took $150 away from their paycheck.
Yeah.
You know, I can't stand those robot cops that just don't give a fuck, man.
I feel like that's what usually pulls me over.
Like, hey, I'm Trooper so-and-so. Fuck you. You were speeding. Here's your ticket for $300.
I mean,
I know you're having a hard time.
I've gotten very lucky when I've been pulled over in the past. You know,
it's like the Trenton cop that pulled me over for stop sign. You can't be like, oh, you're 16. You literally just got your license. You're learning.
Right.
Go home.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Let's give him a $200 ticket. Take his license away.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
the shit I think about. I refuse to cite juveniles now because I know what it takes. Yeah. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of time. There's court. Yeah. You have to go to court when you're a juvenile. So that's just a pain in the ass, and I know that. Yeah. So I don't do it unless it's something really, 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 really bad.
Right.
You know, but
I was just going to say, you know, people might disagree with me, but I think the cops that have had the biggest effect on me, obviously the ones I've worked with, are the cops that pull me over and let me know, like, you have fucked up. This is serious. Yeah. Don't do it again. You're free to go.
Yeah.
Not like, we're going to get money out of you, because then you've just pissed me off. Yeah. I'm not even thinking about what I did. I'm just like, you're a dick.
It's the human-human interaction, not the uniform-to-human interaction. That's what I tell people all the time. That's why I ignore that I'm in a uniform half the time. Not tactically sound. I'm very tactically sound. I know I'm a cop. I'm in uniform. But when I talk to you, I'm not talking down to you. I'm talking to you as a human to human. Yeah. That's just how it should be. I don't know why they train people to act. They train you to be like, you're in charge, blah, 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 which you are. But you don't have to be like a fucking robot.
Yeah, there's ways
pointing your fucking finger at people, No, it's human. I know you're going through stuff, man. Where are you going? What's going on with you? Why are you doing what you're doing? Get to know them.
Can I ask you a question about traffic stops? There's a guy I follow on TikTok, and sometimes I go down the rabbit hole.
Is it Frank?
Fridays with Frank.
No. Okay, no. This guy just has a GoPro in his car, and if he gets pulled, he doesn't post all the time, but he does get pulled over frequently for stupid things. He got pulled over for something with his car being registered to somebody else or something. I don't know. And he was driving it. But the cop was so fixated on... Because he never rolls his window down all the way.
Right.
Just halfway.
Yeah.
Would that bother you? If you can see everything in the car and
So, no.
Okay.
Well, short answer is no, because I know what they're doing.
Okay.
I don't let people... sovereign citizens get to me. It's either...
Yeah, see,
if I can see you and we can talk, I don't care. I know what you're trying to do, but I'm not going to let it get to me. Now, if it's cracked and I literally can't hear you and you're impeding my investigation, then we're going to have an issue.
Yeah, see, this is why
You're making it unsafe at that point.
I asked you this just for anyone listening because I knew your answer because I know how you are and how you think. Yeah. Guys, Cody is what I would consider a good cop to be.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And so, like you said, you know what they're doing. When you go up to a window and you're wanting to talk to somebody and they only got halfway up, that's them trying to control the situation. Yeah. So if you let that affect you, they're winning.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, I'm going to win.
And that's this guy's whole point with it. He's not a sovereign citizen. He's just showing how cops were. I can't even remember where the fuck he lives. Most of them are young guys who are trying to establish their authority.
Yeah.
And if there's a little command they give that he doesn't follow, that's a crime. Yeah. He literally has one cop that says, I'm going to write you a ticket. He's like, for what?
Yeah, and they don't know what.
Yeah, they don't know what. They're just well, keep testing me. And it's
it's an authority thing. Exactly. And everybody has that when you first become a cop. You're because you're I got a gun in badge,
I
blah,
would.
Blah. And I did, but I was also humble about it. But it did piss me off when people didn't do what I asked, even if it was something stupid like that.
Yeah.
But now I'm a little aged. I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't care at the end of the day. I could tell you, go have fun. See ya. I don't care. What's it going to change?
Exactly.
So, I don't know. That just comes with experience, I guess.
I also think little things like that, it's if you can acknowledge ahead of time what they're trying to do and you ignore it, they'll probably just be more cool with you because they realize, oh, okay, you're not what I thought you were.
And they do.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of times when they're I respect you respecting me, Or people that carry guns and stuff, lawfully, and you don't question them about it. It's maybe where is it, just in case I need to know.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah. Jordan will get on me for watching these, sovereign citizen videos and stuff. But I'm some of it's entertaining,
It is entertaining, but
here's my thing. These videos wouldn't exist in the way they do if there weren't so many terrible cops.
Yeah, I agree.
That's always my defense. I'm you know what? If we don't want to see these videos so much, let's... Make cops fucking own up to what they're doing out there.
Nobody hates a bad cop more than a good cop. Yep. That's damn truth.
I will believe that because I know a lot of good cops, and I feel like they always hate most cops.
Yes.
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go down a hole with your line of work. I try not to make everything about cops with you. But it's cool.
It kind of ties into this, though, because...
It does, yeah.
A dude's drag racing and a cop,
And if anyone's listening or watching at home still, I'm not judging you, I promise. I'm really judging them. It's really cool having a friend that's a cop. So
yeah, appreciate it.
It is. It's just cool to think, I'm not going to say that you've, shown us things you do in the line of work, but if we'd happen to have seen some things you've done, it's pretty badass.
Oh, you guys have seen a lot. One group chat.
I love it. But I appreciate you being willing to talk about it.
No problem.
Any aspect of your life, honestly. It's really hard to sit, because I did a whole episode by myself about mental health, and I think maybe 7 people have watched it, but I was spilling my heart on that. You know, it's hard to sit down and just talk about things.
Yeah,
like,
it is very hard.
Especially when they mean a lot to you. Mm-hmm. And I know your life with your family and your line of work all mean a lot to you. So, like, my job is just a job.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, but it's not like my heart's in it. I feel like when you're a good cop, you're completely enamored and like you're devoting your life, your family sacrificing. Like it's a big thing. So it's not just like another job.
Right.
You know, at least if you're doing it right.
Right.
In my opinion.
I agree.
But no, so I appreciate it, man. It's cool.
Appreciate it.
And so we got way off this.
Yeah, I gotta take a potty break.
Oh, you're good.
Liar of a squirrel.
We're gonna take a little break, and after this, we eat donuts. Donuts.
Oh,
have not been opened yet.
Yeah.
We've been sitting here talking for like fucking 8 hours, and all I've asked of you is to crack open the donuts.
Yeah, napkin or anything, so I can lay it on the table with my
Yeah, hold on.
We got tissues.
We got paper towels.
Are we even talking about Fast and Furious?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I keep forgetting we're talking about a movie.
I do too.
That one's wet.
I feel like every podcast ever goes down a rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Is there anything we want to talk about while we got Cody here?
I don't know.
Anything.
Not that I can think of.
No? Nothing?
Am I missing something?
No, I'm just asking. You got Cody Baker sitting on a mic, Demo. You don't have something you want to ask him?
Oh, I'll go back to what was brushed over a little bit ago. Yeah, I thought you didn't like me. And it was because, and it stemmed the way back to Explorers.
He didn't know you're the reason that he got hired.
Weird.
Because, you know how...
Maybe I'm the one with RBF and shit.
Well, you know how most of the people were at Butler County, right? Like, we're the best post around, and they had this chip on their shoulder, which, whatever, I didn't care. But when you came to Fairfield, I felt like you brought that with you. Like, yeah, I'm better than all these jokes.
I probably did.
And I was like, oh, he doesn't like me. Like, and then we'd, talk a little bit, but it was just, casual, hey, what's up kind of deal. And then I got to the mall, and I saw you, friends with Kyle, friends with Jordan, and I was like, oh, he doesn't like me.
It's funny you say that because I actually really liked you at Fairfield. And I was like, man, this kid's a good kid, you know? Because I got, ended up getting, promoted or... Yeah, sergeant. Yeah, it's so gay. And, you were always one of my go-tos. But didn't you have, stuff going on? Or was I misinterpreted? Because you started to, not come.
I think I might have just got busy. It was Fair Week, I think.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I remember that. And I was like, man, where did this kid go? And it's funny because the version...
then I re-enlisted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's kind of like a blur in my life, that whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because I re-enlisted and I had to stop. I obviously couldn't be there. So.
That's when I was going to the academy and everything. And working at the mall.
Yeah.
During that whole Fairfield thing. It's funny because the guy that I knew at Explorers was, and then you got, because I went to jail. I was like, that kid's a good kid, you know, goes to Explorers.
Joe has always said you're the reason he got hired.
And
pissed me off at the time.
And then you got hired, and we all started doing that dumb shit.
Yeah.
And I saw a different side of you. Not that I didn't like you, I was just like, wow, this kid is completely different than what I thought he was. Because you were like, yes sir, no sir, at Explorers all the time. Like when I talked to you, it was like, yes sir. No, sir. Why the fuck are you talking to me like that? I'm 17 years old. I don't know how old I was, probably 18, 19. But you're like, yes sir, no sir, to everything. You're super respectful. I'm like, that's a good fucking kid right there, son. And
that was prior to military, right?
Yeah, that was
going into
because of the way I was raised in football. So it was just ingrained in me anyway. So I said that to everybody anyway.
Yeah, I know you did.
And I knew how Explorers was and how
well, it's funny to me
wanted us to be and all that.
How that transcends to when you were at the mall.
Yeah.
So I was the sergeant when Dima got hired.
Yeah, that was right
on second
out of the
shift.
Military.
It was me and fucking Moore.
Anyways, one of them answered my call when I needed them at 3 a.m. though, just so we're all aware.
Anyways,
who did?
Nobody.
Oh,
Reggie didn't. Kyle didn't.
I sort of told Joe, I was like, I blocked his number, dude. I'm like, I did not like Dima being there. I was not for it.
I think I do remember that.
Nathan pissed me. Me and Nathan were good friends, but when it came to working with him, he wasn't doing anything right. I was constantly going to Joe and Reggie, like, you guys gotta get rid of this kid. Like, he's gonna get us in trouble.
Who?
Nathan.
Oh, okay.
He was squirrely and stupid.
He was squirrely.
He was young, like, whatever. But it was just too much for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I'm in charge now, and now I have to care about what other people are
Right.
doing, and this dude's just fucking up, like, blatantly. So anyways, when I'm hearing his best friend, who I had met Dima one day, and it was weird, because it was when you brought and you just, like, left her and wandered off, and I was like, wait, where'd that Dima kid go?
Yeah.
And then Nathan was like, oh, yeah, he's weird, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And then, so I hear you're applying to work at the mall. I'm like, we don't need one of Nathan's fucking friends coming in here doing squirrely shit, too.
Yeah, I remember feeling that.
I had a whole talk with Joe, and then this fucker comes walking in, and I was like, I think he's a good guy, Joe. I was like, dude, no.
It's funny because you did have two very different sides, which... I mean, I think anybody would have because you were at sports. You have to be. I was a sergeant. You just had to be respectful. But then you came to the mall and it's like you opened up a little bit. I'm like, hey, that's that one kid.
Well, that's what won me over because like he came in and like you were saying, I remember this night like it was last night, dude.
I remember that night.
He comes in for third shift. He's got his big fucking like rucksack or whatever from the military, and it says Air Force on it.
Yeah.
He stands at attention. And says, yes, Sergeant. Like, I'm telling him what to do.
Parade dress.
Well, yeah, whatever. He's, like, telling me, like, yes, sir, and yes, Sergeant. And I literally turned, and I was like, because I'm walking out the door, I'm like, hey, you don't have to do that Sergeant thing. And then he was like, yes, sir. And I was like, oh. And I went home, and I was just sitting there thinking, like, God, that guy is cringe, dude. Like, that is just too much. And I was taking into account, like, okay, you were in the military, blah, 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 blah. You're respecting the ranks. And I was also thinking, like, he's kind of perfect because that's what Reggie and Joe wanted us to be. They wanted us all to have fucking buzz cuts, polished boots. Dude, just, like, chevron straight. I mean...
They were pretty strict.
They were, man. So, like, I was like, okay, I get why Joe hired this guy, but it was also just cringing me out, dude.
I think we all went through that phase of, like, cringing each other out and shit.
Like, literally, I remember when he got put on second shift with me, and we're walking around talking. I was like, this guy's kind of cool, actually, you know? Like, so it was like once I got past the fucking, like, blueprint military guy, you were a cool dude. I was like, all right. I guess I see why.
I'm going to talk about somebody that has followed somebody around. Look at fucking Jordan and I.
Yeah.
I went to fucking preschool with that kid.
Holy shit.
I've known him my entire life.
Yeah, that's what's cool about how things worked out. It's like, I became friends with you before anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jordan was this guy that just, like, I felt like judged me. Like, he was the first shift dude that sat in dispatch and was like, oh, yeah, Kyle, he's one of those guys that goes out, he's all squirrely, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, we get stuck on first shift together when I finally got moved to first shift. And I think the first thing we bonded over was Chipotle.
Oh, wow.
Because he was like, I'm kind of getting, you know, he is. He's like, I'm kind of getting hungry. Like,
that's all he thinks about.
Yeah.
Food.
He thinks about. Yeah, back then he was so scrawny as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, he was like a worm, dude.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, you need to eat. So we go to Chipotle. He got a lot of fucking food. I was like, all right, I guess he does eat. And we're walking out, and there's a dude's Snapchat. Remember how like people used to get stickers of their Snapchat code and put it everywhere? Some dude, I think I still have on my Snapchat, had one on a handicap sign. And this is what told me Jordan was different. He's like, hey, Kyle, let's add that on Snapchat and send him a selfie. Still have that picture.
No.
It is the first picture of me and Jordan. We took a selfie and sent it to this dude. And then he just started, like, talking to me. And that was our whole, like, dynamic when we started as friends. Like, me and Jordan would, like, snap this guy when we were working together. And, like, he'd be like, oh, send this to him and see what he says. And, like, so fucking weird.
There's so many details, man.
But it was just that. It was so weird and out there. And I didn't expect it from this. I was like, all he does is, like, college shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like, that's all I knew about Jordan. So I was like, all right, this guy's kind of different. You know, he might be cool. And
I can't wait to do that podcast.
oh, it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be
There's
crazy.
so many details and stories, and I mean, even some cool ones.
I got a video of Jordan. It's when he was a fucking worm. He's like, I got him out in the mall one day, and he's standing outside Victoria's Secret like this, because we're on a call. And he's just kind of looking, he goes, like, out in the mall.
Oh, man. Why is that mall our identity?
It is.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, I can't wait to do a podcast about that.
But it's
really
because
can't.
it plays such a crucial part.
It's my dude. It's
to
it is my life.
Yeah,
what's in our life now.
Man.
I don't know where the fuck I'd be if it weren't for that mall.
I wouldn't be here. That's for sure.
Wouldn't know you guys. Wouldn't have my wife right now. Like,
what's wild about that time is Nathan was telling me, like, since the moment I got home from getting my separation, that sounds really bad. Oh well, I don't care. I know what happened. But from the second I was getting home, he's like, "Oh, come apply at Tri-County." I'm like, "I'm not doing that. I don't want to drive that far for work. That's dumb." And I was like, I do need a job. And Nathan said he can get me this job. And
you know what I always relate to when it comes to that? And I guess this will be a kind of good way to close the podcast. The Office, which is like my all-time favorite TV show. Jim, obviously, in the beginning, like he literally was just like, my job's pretty stupid, you know, basically. And then at the end of the series, like, ended up being the best job I ever had. Yeah. And that's literally how I look at them all. Like, I went there because I was literally desperate. I was suffering medically from stress. Right. And I was like, fuck it. I'll take the pay cut. I'll do this until I find something better. Yeah. And boy, was I applying for other jobs. Yeah. Dude, you remember when they wanted to promote me and I didn't want it? Mm-hmm. And they were fighting me. It was like a couple of weeks before I finally caved. I was like, okay, if they're going to make me do more shit, I'm gonna get another job. Like, fuck this, man. I just couldn't get. I don't know. It was weird. I was kind of like in the rut you're in right now. You know, it was like nowhere. I was like, what the fuck? I've never had this problem before. And you'll like this, Cody. I literally took it as a sign. I didn't know from what or who or how, but I was like, I'm just meant to be here right now. Mm-hmm. And I literally, I don't know why, I just quit applying for jobs. I was like, fuck it. And even though, like, I told my dad I quit applying for other jobs, I was like, yeah, I'm going to stick it out the mall and see where this goes. He was judging me, dude. Yeah. Judging me. I'm like, 27 years old, I'm a mall cop making $11 an hour. Like, I'm a joke, you know. On paper, it sounds ridiculous.
On paper, it does sound ridiculous, but they don't know.
It sounds ridiculous to someone who's maybe listening to this, but it's like, the effect that job had on my life, nothing compares to that. I don't think anything ever will.
No, definitely won't.
It built my life. My life before was kind of nothing outside of my family, and I didn't realize that until the mall.
I looked forward to working.
Yep.
Oh, I did too.
Yep. Yeah, so we're basically just hyping up our mall podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it is at this
teaser.
point.
Yeah, but
what's Fast and Furious? I don't know.
Oh yeah. The Fast and Furious is a good movie. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know where I'd be. No.
All right, so 2 podcasts we're definitely going to do. Too Fast, Too Furious, and Fury. Yeah. I still can't believe you haven't seen Fury.
No, I'm going to watch that now that you brought it up.
I love that movie, dude. It's so good. But yeah. Anyways, is there anything else you guys want to say before we wrap this up?
Oh, had fun. On to the next one.
Thanks for coming, Cody.
Yeah, seriously, Cody. Thanks for
I just want to note this is a 45-minute drive. Ain't that crazy? I didn't feel like that, but
holy crap!
I typed it in this one. I'm like, holy shit.
Well, you get to take all the donuts home if that's any.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can have them.
No, it's cool.
No, I'm being serious.
I'm good.
They will go.
Well,
bad.
you guys can eat them later.
I throw them away.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, I'll make it up to you by driving out to you later.
I was about to say, he goes about to drive an hour to me. How far of a drive was that?
It's 40 minutes.
It was about 40.
See, I'm really.
I don't know how, but it was.
Where'd you guys come from? Keats?
Even Jordan was kind of surprised. Like, well, we came from Jordan's house, which maybe it'd be closer if we went straight to your house from ours. I guess we'll find out today.
Hey, I know
we are in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh man.
But seriously, thanks for coming on, dude. It's been fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Looking forward to more of these. Yeah, you guys can catch Cody in Married to Crow. He's got a cameo as a police officer. It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
And he's in some other stuff we do, so keep an eye out for that. He's got nothing else to plug, really. He's a dad, and he's busy, so...
Yeah, I'm just busy, dude.
We're his only source of entertainment.
Yeah, that's about it.
But thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed our 5-minute discussion about the Fast and Furious.
6 hours of everything else.
6 hours, yeah. As always, subscribe, follow wherever the fuck's down below. I don't know where you're at, but do it. Hit the thumb on hand. We don't care what direction it's going. Just fucking do that as well. And fuck off. Catch you next time.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Peace.